the most epic Zodiac Knights system. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26, Ice Coffin. Saint Sia. Interesting title. But I don't have the patience to waste time with you. No matter who you are, if you block my way, you will die. Dan Fangwu said calmly. TSK, what big talk. If you can kill me, come and kill me. I'm here. Yanqing spat out a mouthful of blood foam at Dan Fangwu. Although he couldn't stand steadily, he still provoked Dan Fangwu, not afraid of death at all. Looking for death. Dan Fangwu's eyes burst with murderous intent, and a black beam of light wrapped around a finger pointed at Yanqing. Death ray technique. This black beam of light instantly penetrated Yanqing's body, and the protective effect of the holy clothes was completely invalid. Yanqing spat out large mouthfuls of blood again, painting the snow with a bright red. But even so, Yanqing did not fall completely. Death ray was once a forbidden trick in the past. It can penetrate everything, destroy human cells, and cause organ collapse. This time, not only your bones are broken, but your internal organs are also displaced and exploded. Can you still stop me like this? Dan Fangwu said indifferently. Absolutely. Yanqing half knelt on the ground, lowered his head, and said in a low voice. What? Dan Fangwu's eyes condensed. You can break all my bones, or destroy my internal organs, but you absolutely cannot destroy my heart and my fighting spirit. I, Yanqing, will not let you pass. Dan Fangwu, take my move, Pegasus Meteor Fist. The blue-white fist light broke through the speed of sound, quickly vibrated the surrounding space, and made a rumbling sound. Very good moves, but it's a pity that it doesn't work on me. Dan Fangwu commented. He dodged every punch with a very small amplitude, and Yanqing's meteor fist did not cause any damage to him. Tearing technique. Dan Fangwu chanted, and dozens of runes appeared, turning into countless thorns and iron spikes, avoiding the holy clothes, and piercing Yanqing's body. Bang! Yanqing's flesh and blood exploded, his broken tendons and veins were white, and his broken bones were exposed. This pain was more intense than Lingqi, which impacted Yanqing's nerves, causing him to fall down trembling and unable to move. Is that all? It's just as I thought, not challenging. Dan Fangwu shook his head. This opponent was very tenacious, but that was all. He couldn't pose an effective threat to him. His target was still Fengling, and it was still not too late to chase him. Dan Fangwu was about to walk past Yanqing when a hand suddenly came across and grabbed his clothes tightly. What's going on? He's not dead. Dan Fangwu was surprised. I said, only if I die. Can you step over here? Yanqing's voice was intermittent, very low, but very firm, like the faint hum of life at the end, and like a candle flame that did not fall in the wind. Why do you have to work so hard? Why give up your life for Fengling? Dan Fangwu was shocked. If you want to do something, you have to do it the best. I, Yanqing, owe Fengling a lot, but it doesn't mean I will give up my life for her. I just think that, if she died here, it would be too unworthy. She still has a bright future. Instead of sacrificing two people, it's better for me to die here. Yanqing struggled to get up. Don't you care about your life? Compared with others, isn't your life important? Don't you live for yourself? I always live for myself, but I live more for my beliefs, just like sacrificing one's life for justice. People always have something more valuable to do than living. Yanqing stood up, and his figure became taller in Dan Fangwu's eyes. It seems that I misjudged you. Let me withdraw my previous disrespectful words to you. You are a man worthy of respect. I recognize your fight, but I still have to go over. Let me send you on your way with the strongest trick. Dan Fangwu's indifferent eyes became firm. Then let's fight. Yanqing laboriously depicted the 13 stars of Pegasus, constantly accumulating power. Heavenly domain technique. Hundreds of white runes floated up, rotating rhythmically in the air, forming a domain. Gathering countless wind and snow, they blasted towards Yanqing. Dan Fangwu, I won't sit still and wait for death either. Yanqing clenched his fists tightly and roared to the sky. Burn for the last time, my little universe. At the last, shine once more. AHH. Yanqing's power suddenly weakened. Bang. Yanqing's body bled profusely. His internal organs had been damaged by the previous deathlight technique, and his body was no longer strong enough to sustain this move. What a pity, it was just a little bit short. Never mind. Fengling has already gone a long way. He probably can't catch up. This ending might not be bad. Yanqing fell down slowly. This time he finally closed his eyes and didn't stand up again. Dan Fangwu had a complicated expression. Looking at his scarred hands, he knew that he had actually lost the duel just now. If Yanqing hadn't been seriously injured, he would have been covered and drowned by Yanqing's light, or even swallowed up. Dan Fangwu stared at Yanqing, whose life was burning out, and said, "Yanqing, I remember your name, and I also feel your burning emotions. Fighting with you seems to be more effective than fighting with Fengling. You are a strong man with your own beliefs to implement. In order to repay your guidance to me, I will withdraw from this action against Feng Yang and his family." Snowflakes condense, ice coffin opens. Countless snowflakes gathered quickly under this field and fell on Yanqing. Under the mysterious power of the rune, the snowflakes turned into ice and merged together to form a crystal clear ice coffin. Yanqing was sealed inside, lost his vitality, and his life ended. Rest in peace in this snowy mountain. Dan Fangwu threw the ice coffin containing Yanqing with force into the abyss under the cliff. He looked at the bottom of the cliff silently for a while, then turned and left. The ice coffin fell at the bottom of the cliff, where there was only wind and snow, endless darkness, and eternal loneliness. For 100 years, or 1,000 years, or even longer, no one would come to disturb Yanqing. The Pegasus cloth protected Yanqing. Although Yanqing's body was cold at this time, the cloth was still supplying him with microcosm. The power of the Saint Sia slowly recovered, but it still could not revive Yanqing. At this time, the system hall radiated light. The host was frozen by the power of ice, and the inheritance conditions were automatically triggered. The inheritance of the White Bird constellation begins. This chapter was really laborious. 12 revised it for a long time. I even had a nosebleed while writing it. But it was still worth it. In this duel, the spirit of both of them was reflected. Tomorrow, the inheritance of the White Bird constellation will begin, and the Diamond Stardust Fist, the Ice Ring, etc. will appear. Dear book friends, please cast your votes in view of 12's efforts to describe the story. 12 would like to thank you here. Welcome all book friends to read. The latest, fastest, and hottest serialized works are all here. Chapter 27, The White Bird of Extreme Cold. At this moment, with the sound coming from the system hall, an elegant white bird appeared in Yanqing's microcosm, flapping its wings, and circling with a clear cry. In the microcosm, pieces of falling ice crystal sparkled with diamond-like brilliance, as beautiful as the dust of stars. This was sprinkled by the most elegant constellation, Avius Alba. Under the freezing air of Avius Alba, the ice coffin that sealed Yanqing broke into pieces, revealing Yanqing's body. Yanqing's soul had already fallen asleep. If it weren't for the white bird absorbing the cold air, Yanqing's soul would have dissipated. The host's life has been exhausted, and the backup energy is insufficient. The backup energy cannot be used. The life potential activation system is activated to exchange the host's life for life. 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, 50 years. The system continued to analyze Yanqing's body, slowly restoring Yanqing's body, growing flesh and blood, repairing meridians, connecting bones, and covering skin. Finally, Yanqing's body was successfully repaired. His gray face became slightly ruddy, and he slowly began to breathe. At this time, Yanqing's consciousness was not yet awake. White bird, awaken the host's consciousness. A white bird chirped and rushed into Yanqing's sea of consciousness from the microcosm, freezing thousands of miles, and frost fell suddenly, covering the sea of consciousness with a layer of ice crystals. Hiss, it's so cold. Yanqing's consciousness felt the chill that penetrated deep into his soul, and slowly woke up from the dark ecstasy. This is the kingdom of ice. No, this is the sea of consciousness. What's going on? My sea of consciousness has turned into the kingdom of ice. It's incredible. Yanqing looked at the sea of consciousness, puzzled. Suddenly, a clear chirp sounded, and Yanqing looked up and saw a white bird floating past him, freezing the sea of consciousness with layer after layer of ice walls. This is the extremely cold white bird. Could it be that he has obtained the inheritance of the white bird and therefore was awakened by the system? Yanqing murmured. Well, host, only after implementing the lifespan and life exchange procedure can the host wake up from death. Lifespan and life exchange? Then how much life do I have left? Yanqing asked. 3 years left. 3 years, not short. Is there any way to remedy it? Yes, as long as the host awakens the 7th sense, life will be extended. Is that so? Yanqing suddenly smiled and said, that's not bad. Didn't you have to accept the inheritance of Ares before, and awaken the 7th sense within 3 years? The two together are also a motivation. Very good. It's good that the host has this mentality. Please accept the inheritance of the white bird constellation. By the way, I have to ask one more thing. Why did the inheritance of the white bird constellation appear? Yanqing threw out the doubts in his heart. Because the host was frozen in an ice coffin. There is icy power in the ice coffin, and he came into contact with the icy power. In this case, wouldn't Dongfang Wu have fulfilled me? Yanqing thought a little strangely. That's true. If it weren't for the host's enemy, and such an ice coffin was condensed, so that the host was exposed to the cold power, the system would not appear and wake up the host. It's really a blessing in disguise. Yanqing sighed. Is the host ready to accept the inheritance of the white bird? Yanqing calmed down and said, well, okay, let's start. This time was different from the last time Yanqing merged with Pegasus. This time, the white bird was very proactive, as if it liked the coldness on Yanqing's body. The white bird flapped its wings and rushed into Yanqing's body, merging with Yanqing's spirit. Yanqing experienced the mystery of the white bird, which was a completely different spirit from Pegasus. Yanqing felt as if he was alone, spending thousands of years in the world of ice, and there was an unspeakable loneliness surging in his heart. Elegant as a nobleman on the ice field, his appearance was like ice, not easy to approach, and he seemed ruthless and cold. In fact, once he accepted others in his heart, the ice in his heart would melt and become hot. He didn't need to express it in words, but showed everything with actions. He could sacrifice himself for his comrades. This was the spirit inherited by the white bird. Freezing Fist, Diamond Stardust Fist, Ice Ring, Golden Flame Whirlwind Fist, Aurora Lightning Shock, Forgiveness of the Dawn Goddess, Ice Coffin. All kinds of mysteries emerged in Yanqing's mind and were quickly understood by Yanqing. At this time, the white bird rushed into Yanqing's microcosm and merged with the microcosm. The microcosm suddenly became powerful, and countless stars were covered with a layer of ice crystals, shining. Yanqing's microcosm turned into an ice microcosm. The power of the body surged violently, like a rushing river, breaking the dam on the shore, and the boundary of the innate 3rd level was immediately broken. Boom. Boom. Breaking through 2 levels in a row, Yanqing reached the innate 5th level, and was only 1 level away from Yang's innate 6th level. This speed of improvement was simply terrifying. In just a few breaths, he achieved results that others might not be able to achieve in a few years. Yanqing experienced the mystery of the white bird constellation. All the moves were issued through frozen air. By accumulating frozen air, powerful moves can be issued. Saint Seiya uses the microcosm to destroy atoms, but the battle of ice is not just like that. Temperature determines the movement of atoms. Using freezing air to lower the temperature, stop the movement of atoms, and destroy atoms at the same time. This is a battle of ice. Yanqing's body was shining with white light. After the previous battle, his microcosm finally officially entered the 6th sense, and felt the mystery of the microcosm. At the bottom of the cold cliff, the roaring wind and snow seemed to become docile, and the temperature, which was originally around -10 degrees, also dropped. Everything around seemed to stop. A figure emitting white light came from the depths. There was a ball of cold freezing air in his hand, which kept condensing ice crystals from the air. Is this freezing air? It's really cold. Freezing Fist. Yanqing swung the freezing air in his hand. The freezing air moved forward at the speed of sound and hit a side of the ice wall. Boom. Cracks appeared on the ice wall, and it was covered by a thick layer of ice. Yanqing walked over, knocked, and punched hard, but only broke the surface of the ice. Such a hard ice body, it can't be broken even with a full strength attack from the 5th level of the innate. It's really scary. Ordinary moves like the freezing fist are so powerful, then what about the diamond star fist and the ice ring? Yanqing exclaimed. With the burning of the small universe and the wearing of the holy clothes, his combat power has surpassed the 6th level of the innate, and may be able to match the mortal realm. Congratulations to the host for becoming a Saint Seer of the White Bird constellation. The reward is an ice crystal. The system also issued a congratulatory voice, and issued a reward. System, why is it not a holy cloth? Yanqing was a little surprised. The holy cloth still needs to be made by the host himself. When the host obtains the inheritance of Ares, the system's function of giving holy clothes will stop. So that's it. Although it's a pity that I can't wear the legendary white bird holy cloth. However, if there are 2 holy clothes, it will be very troublesome to take them. Yanqing was somewhat relieved. What is the ice crystal? It is a disposable lethal weapon. In view of the fact that the host often faces opponents who are far stronger than himself, for the safety of the host, the system hereby rewards this item. In times of crisis, the host throws it out, which can destroy opponents below the level of immortals. What? Below the level of immortals? Yanqing was surprised. With this thing, even if Yizang came, he could use it to kill Yizang. This is a powerful weapon. With this thing, there will be no problem in this trial. Next, I must find Fengling to inform me of my safety. Yanqing looked at the communicator on his arm that had been frozen and could not be used and shook his head. Yanqing picked up his scattered things and with a few light rises and falls, he returned to the path. The empty holy clothes box also fell to the bottom of the cliff. Yanqing's mind moved, and the Pegasus holy clothes turned into a beam of light and returned to the holy clothes box. In the battle with Dan Fangwu, Yanqing realized that he could not exert the power of the holy clothes and could only rely on the holy clothes to increase his power. It is still a long way to merge with the holy clothes and bring out their true power. Yanqing stepped onto the path and saw the footprints of several different people on the path. His face became gloomy. Yanqing closed his eyes and felt it. He sensed 2 unfamiliar auras. One was Yizang's aura. There was another person with him. It must be Yu Fei who had never shown up. Are they going to chase Fengling? Yanqing's eyes showed murderous intent. He looked at the ice crystal in his hand and couldn't help but sneer. Yizang, since you are here, I won't let you go back alive this time. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28 When the White Bird Flies, Part 1. Time goes back to when Yanqing died. Just as Dan Fangwu was about to leave, his communicator rang. This was a call from Yizang. Hello, Dan Fangwu, I'll be at the snowy mountain trail soon. How's it going? Yizang's voice came from the other side. Yanqing of the Yang family is dead. Dan Fangwu said. Really? That's great. What about Fengling? Yizang's tone was obviously much more relaxed after hearing this. After the start of the wilderness survival, many variables were beyond his expectations. He also couldn't help but have great doubts about whether he could kill the descendants of the Yang and Feng families. Now, Yanqing's death has restored some of his confidence. Fengling, I've given up. Dan Fangwu said casually. What? Yizang couldn't help but clench his hand holding the communicator. He couldn't believe what he heard. Dan Fangwu actually gave up. This was not in line with Dan Fangwu's character at all. Dan Fangwu, why would you? Yizang felt that the variables were increasing again and were no longer under his control. No reason, that's it. I'm out of this operation. Dan Fangwu hung up the communicator directly without giving Yizang a chance to reply. Yizang's face was gloomy. He killed Yanqing, who was dispensable, but in exchange Dan Fangwu withdrew. This deal was really not worth it. Aizan was dead, and Janice and Leibo were still looking for Yang's trace. Only he and Yu Fei were left here. Yizang was in a terrible mood. It was really difficult for the two of them to hunt down Fengling. However, there was no good way now, so he could only go directly. I hope that Fengling has not recovered the energy consumed after the battle with AI Zhang. 10 minutes later, Yi Zhang stood at the place where Yanqing and Dongfang Wu fought fiercely. Looking at the traces of the battle, he was a little surprised. The collision of these two energies was very powerful. Even if he used all his strength to attack, the destructive power he caused was no more than this. It seems that Fengling had been seriously injured after the battle with Dongfang Wu. Yi Zhang relaxed a little. In this way, it would be much easier for him to hunt down Fengling. With Yu Fei, there should be no problem. Yi Zhang pondered for a while and called Yu Fei his communicator. Yu Fei, Dongfang Wu has withdrawn from this operation. There are only 2 of us left. Yu Fei on the other end immediately screamed, Dongfang Wu, withdraw. Why? He didn't tell the reason, just said he withdrew. He killed Yanqing and let Fengling escape. Now I ask you, there are only 2 of us. Do you want to go after Fengling? Yi Zhang's face was solemn, waiting for Yu Fei's answer. Of course I will go. I'm very interested in Fengling. Well, I have reached the snow mountain path now. Where are you? I'm rushing over from the west of the small jungle. I will be there soon. By the way, Yi Zhang, can you be more reliable? You said Fengling and Yanqing would pass by where I'm stationed, but they didn't pass by. Are you kidding me? Yu Fei shouted. I just said it's possible. Yanqing and Fengling should have changed their route, so they didn't pass by you. Yi Zhang explained patiently. I see. Oh, Yi Zhang, I see you. Yu Fei hung up the communicator. Yi Zhang looked up and saw a red-haired young man flying down the mountain. This was Yu Fei, the eldest son of the Yu family. Unlike Fengling's flying method, Yu Fei seemed to be stepping on something in the air with each foot, making a sharp explosion sound. Each leap covered a distance of dozens of meters, looking domineering and elegant. This was the Yi family's stepping air step, which was famous for its low consumption and fast speed. Yeah, it's really a big scene. The fight was so intense that Fengling probably didn't feel well. Yu Fei observed the traces and exclaimed, well, so now is the last chance. Once Fengling recovers, it will be difficult for the 2 of us to catch up with her, let alone kill her. Yi Zhang said. Don't worry, I'm here. My stepping air step is not a vegetarian. Even if Fengling recovers, I can catch up with her and capture her. Yu Fei said with a smile, as if he didn't take Fengling seriously. Yi Zhang frowned. Yu Fei was too boastful and arrogant. If he couldn't use it well, he would probably hold himself back. He had to control it and not make any mistakes. Then let's go. Well, let's go. Yi Zhang was about to leave when he suddenly felt a little palpitation in his heart. He glanced at the bottom of the cliff beside the path, as if something was reviving. But when he felt it carefully, the breath was gone again. He shook his head and said, maybe it's an illusion. The two chased in the direction of Fengling. It must be said that Fengling's consumption was indeed very large. Just as she walked out of dozens of miles, Yi Zhang and Yu Fei found her with the breath locator. Fengling, who was a little sad in her heart, saw Yi Zhang and Yu Fei and quickly adjusted her mood. While silently adjusting her breath, she said to Yi Zhang, you two really want to attack my Feng family? Aren't you afraid that I will go back and convene a family alliance meeting to start a family war? Haha, Fengling, what are you thinking about? Convening a family alliance meeting? Do you think you can go back alive? Yu Fei laughed. No more words, do it. Don't give Fengling a chance to adjust his breath. Yi Zhang saw through Fengling's thoughts and acted quickly. 8 Desolation's Fist. Yi Chang used the Yi family's unique skill right from the start. His fist broke through the sky and shattered the 8 Desolations. The Yi family's 8 Desolations fist was said to be able to kill immortals and was extremely powerful. 9 steps to heaven. Yu Fei shouted loudly and took 9 steps. The void trembled and countless space ripples rose and fell, forcing towards Fengling. Wind cross rotation technique. Countless wind blades rotated, forming a field, shattering with the fist light and returning with the space ripples. In 3 breaths, only 1/3 of the wind blades remained. Fengling's face was a little pale. The full strength attack of the 2 transcendent realm masters was very strenuous for her, even when she was at her peak, and now it was even more difficult to block. Haha, Fengling, how long can you hold on? Why don't you surrender? Yufei laughed loudly and took 9 steps in the air continuously. Circles of space ripples vibrated out, blasting hundreds of wind blades of Fengling. Yizong advanced quickly, his hands turned into shadows, striking out a series of trajectories, forming a domain, covering the 4 directions. This was the Yi family's asterisk fist, which was the same high-level boxing technique as the 8 desolate fists, but it was more powerful. After reaching the transcendent realm, the internal force was transformed into a high-level energy, Yuan energy. The destructive power of Yuan energy was quite strong. The asterisk fist that Yizong swung was a domain laid by Yuan energy, which could break everything. Fengling's wind-cross domain was quickly crushed by Yizong's asterisk fist domain, leaving only a thin layer. Fengling's mouth was bleeding, and the Yuan energy in her meridians had dried up. She knew that she could not win if the battle continued. Only by burning life and using forbidden techniques could a person's life be taken away. Just as Fengling was about to use forbidden techniques, 2 groups of frozen air suddenly appeared, one of which blasted towards Yizong's asterisk fist domain, causing it to circulate and lag, revealing a gap. The other group of frozen air fell on Yufei, freezing his feet. Good opportunity. Wind cross. Return to 1. Fengling's eyes flashed, and the wind blades quickly merged into one, forming a huge wind blade, cutting off Yizong's domain. Who is it? Yizong shouted in surprise. Someone actually interrupted their fight against Fengling. Yufei also fell to the ground in a rather embarrassed manner, shattering the ice on his feet. It's you, my uncle. Yanqing flipped in the air, like a white bat spreading its wings, and stood next to Fengling. Fengling looked at the person next to him, and almost shed tears. It was great that he was not dead. Yanqing, it's you. Yizong was very shocked. Didn't Dong Fangwu kill him? How could he be alive? And why did his strength suddenly become so strong? It was simply unscientific. Didn't you die? Yufei also exclaimed. How could I die before I killed you? Yanqing smiled, his body glowing, his fighting spirit boiling, and the surging power rushed out, confronting Yizong and Yufei. Chapter 29, When the White Bird Flies, Part 2. At this time, the snowy mountain became quiet. No one expected that Yanqing, who was already dead in their impression, would suddenly appear. Yanqing, didn't Dong Fangwu kill you? Yizong asked in a deep voice. Dong Fangwu was indifferent and disdained to tell lies. Since he said he killed you, he must have killed you. But Yanqing's appearance made Yizong confused. What was going on? Sorry, I don't have to answer your question. You should ask Dong Fangwu about this. Yanqing said. Yanqing, Fengling's eyes were misty. She didn't expect Yanqing to really come back. She thought he had been killed by Dong Fangwu. Seeing Yanqing suddenly appear and save her, she felt like she was dreaming. I'm fine. After the battle with Dong Fangwu, I turned out to be a blessing in disguise. You see. Yanqing comforted Fengling, raised his momentum, and revealed his 5th level innate cultivation. 5th level of Xianshan? Fengling was surprised. Yanqing's cultivation aptitude was simply a demon. He could actually improve in battle. However, Fengling could not help but worry. Facing 2 geniuses in the transcendent realm, the 5th level of Xianshan could not do anything. 5th level of Xianshan, the boy from the Yang family, has improved quite quickly, but it's a pity that I can kill you with one move. Yufei pointed at Yanqing, very arrogant. Yi Chang's eyes flickered, but he didn't say anything. He felt that, since Yanqing dared to appear in front of them, he must have something to rely on. The freezing air from Yanqing's hand just now was a force that could threaten the transcendent realm, which made him very afraid. Yanqing let out a long roar and said, Yufei, Yi Chang, come up if you have the courage. I will kill you myself. Seeing Yanqing so arrogant, Yi Chang couldn't be sure whether he was really sure that he could stop the 2 of them, or was just bluffing, but this was the best opportunity to kill Fengling, and he had to do it. Yanqing is only at the 5th level of Xianshan. Even if he has the attack power of the transcendent realm, he cannot use high-level energy such as Yuan, and will not be his opponent. Yizong thought quickly, clarified the pros and cons, and made up his mind. Yufei, attack. Yizong shouted, waving his fists, and the thick Yuan boiled like the sea. The asterisk fist field was displayed again, rumbling, as if to crush this world. 9 steps to the sky, space vibration. Yu Fei used all his strength this time, and Yanqing surged under his feet in a chain. The ripples in the space rose and fell like water, constantly vibrating, annihilating everything around, and shaking the tiny ice crystals into powder. Fengling was about to attack, but was stopped by Yanqing. Now Fengling has not fully recovered, and now it is his turn to fight. Freezing fist. Yanqing did not dare to be careless at all. Facing 2 transcendent realm masters, even if he has a killer weapon like ice crystal, he may capsize if he is not careful. Dozens of groups of freezing air were swung out at high speed to block the spread of space ripples and the advancement of fist light. Although the freezing air was very powerful, it was still wiped out by the approach of 2 forces of the transcendent realm. Seeing this situation, Fengling's worry became more serious. She seemed to have made up her mind. She slapped her lantern with one hand, showing a painful look on her face, and more blood was left on her mouth. Yanqing was very calm. He had known this result for a long time. The freezing fist was just a test. When Yanqing was about to use the secret of the white bad seat to freeze Yi Chang and Yu Fei's moves, Fengling suddenly burst out with a shocking momentum. He suddenly felt that Fengling had restored the power of his heyday. What's going on? Fengling, you. Yanqing was a little stunned. Is it a forbidden secret technique? What's wrong with me? I'm the second daughter of the Feng family and a genius in the transcendent realm. If I'm protected by you and curled up like a kitten, I might as well die. Fengling's clothes fluttered, her breath soared, and she said with a proud face, "This is a heavenly demon disintegration." Yu Fei was surprised. He looked at Fengling with an incredible look on his face. The heavenly demon disintegration is a taboo secret technique. When a person is seriously injured and encounters an enemy, he can use the heavenly demon disintegration to restore his full strength within half an hour. Of course, this taboo secret technique has a great cost, and the user will regress a major realm. That is to say, after Fengling uses the heavenly demon disintegration for half an hour, his strength will fall from the transcendent realm to the innate 6th realm. Hey, stop it quickly. I told you, I can do it. Yanqing was very anxious. Fengling did this, which was not what he wanted to see. Nonsense. You can't stop once you use it. Besides, with you, a guy of the innate 5, can you take care of the 2 people on the opposite side? Don't be so stubborn. Let me and you do it together. Fengling closed her eyes, and countless wind blades appeared together, like a peacock spreading its tail, condensing into a semicircle behind her. Oh, I really admire you. Yanqing sighed. He understood Fengling's intention. This was because she was afraid that she couldn't beat the 2 people on the opposite side, so she used this taboo secret technique. If only I had told her about the ice crystal earlier. Yanqing was a little annoyed. I will fight Yi Zhang, and you go fight Yu Fei. With your new moves, it should be no problem to hold out against Yu Fei. After I defeat Yi Zhang, I will come to help you right away. Fengling, who had regained her strength, had absolute confidence in her voice. She did not take Yi Zhang and Yu Fei seriously. Yeah, Yanqing nodded. It would be better to follow Fengling's advice now. After dealing with Yu Fei, she would help her deal with Yi Zhang. The conversation between Fengling and Yanqing made Yu Fei's face turn purple and tremble with anger. He could accept being despised by an opponent of the same level like Fengling, but being despised by an incompetent like Yanqing was simply a shame. Yu Fei, calm down. Yi Zhang said in a deep voice. I can't calm down. Yang family kid, do you think you are qualified to fight me? As he said that, Yu Fei immediately rushed forward, wanting to strike Yanqing horizontally, so that he would turn into dust that could not be seen by the naked eye under the spatial vibration of the 9 steps to heaven. We'll know whether we can win or not after the battle. Yanqing smiled. The freezing air in his hand condensed, and the cold air burst out. Then I'll kill you with one move, and then fight Fengling again. Yu Fei took a step forward, and the rolling airwaves forced the ice and snow around him out 10 meters away. This snowy mountain is my home ground. I want to see how you can kill me with one move. Yanqing sneered. The freezing air in his hand burst out, condensing the airwaves into countless tiny ice crystal particles, which scattered all over the ground. White Bird constellation controls the freezing air, and this snowy mountain can be said to have given Yanqing the right time and place, and it is indeed his paradise. This is also one of the reasons why he dared to challenge Yi Chang and Yu Fei. Feng Ling looked at Yi Zhang and said with a smile, Yi Zhang, you don't have Dan Fang Wu, Ai Zhang, and Yu Fei anymore. Now you are the only one left. Do you dare to fight me openly? I have wanted to beat up your stinky face for a long time. Let's see who can kill whom. Yi Zhang was really angry. All his calculations failed. Yanqing was not dead. Yang Ze was on the run, and Feng Ling had recovered his strength. This made him, who usually claimed to be in control of everything, extremely frustrated. 8 Desolate Fist. Fusion. The terrifying 8 Desolate Fist light merged with a fist field, distorting and shattering the space. The wisps of light flashed from time to time in the field, and there was infinite murderous intent. Oh, it's still a combination skill. Yi Zhang, you are still quite good. Feng Ling raised her eyebrows, and she also made a move. And the first move was also a combination skill. Hurricane Strangles, Endless Wind Cross. A tornado several dozen meters thick swept the ice and snow, and the mighty wind tore everything apart. The cross-shaped wind blade was suspended outside the tornado, matching the tornado's rotational force, and under this rotational force, it rotated faster, breaking through the air, making a sizzling sound. The war was about to begin. Chapter 30, Aurora Lightning Shock. First update. Tread on the sky and shatter the air. 9 steps in a row. Yu Fei roared, stepped out with both feet, and the energy surged. The explosion roared, shattering the space. The Yu family's unique skill, the 9 steps to the sky, can not only break the void and shatter the space, but also turn the power of space into its own use, to attack and defend against the enemy. The spatial ripples continued to vibrate, and the tearing force generated when the distorted space restored its original shape was extremely terrifying. Wherever the ripples went, everything was destroyed. One move to kill you, Yu Fei said arrogantly. Humph, what a joke. Yanqing sneered. This Yu Fei dared to say such big words without seeing the enemy's background clearly. He was indeed a fool. Freezing fist, freezing air burst. The cold freezing air spread out, and the temperature around Yanqing dropped by dozens of degrees. The spatial ripples were quickly smoothed out before they approached Yanqing. Impossible, the spatial ripples actually disappeared. Yu Fei was shocked. Nothing is impossible. Even if it is a broken space, it is nothing more than a violent movement at the atomic level. My freezing air can delay and stop the movement of atoms. Yanqing said coldly. Yu Fei, use whatever tricks you have. Don't think that I can't kill you, just because I'm at the 5th level of the innate realm. You guy. Yu Fei gritted his teeth. He was shocked that his proud 9 steps to heaven could not break through Yanqing's defense, and at the same time, he took the opponent in front of him seriously. 9 steps to heaven is not just this level. Yang family boy, tremble next, and control the sky domain. Yu Fei unfolded a white circular domain, covering Yanqing. In this domain, Yanqing could see some space fragments and dimensional blades flashing from time to time in a white mist, hiding countless dangers. This is the domain he condensed after reaching the transcendent realm and comprehending the 9 steps to heaven. Because of this absolutely powerful domain that breaks everyone's imagination, he was able to overwhelm the younger generation of the Yu family and stand out. Heavenly control. Yu Fei uttered 2 words, as if his words were followed by the law. A binding force broke through the space and suddenly descended on Yanqing. The heavy pressure made Yanqing's knees bend, and he could hardly move. This is gravity. Isn't it using space? How can gravity appear? Yanqing was very surprised. This situation surprised him very much. Yang family boy, in my heavenly control domain, I'm a god. The 4 directions above and below are called Yu, and the past and present are called Zhao. Yu and Zhao make up the heaven and earth. And I, Yu Fei, control space. Space is you. Here, I'm invincible. Yu Fei laughed. Hearing this, Yanqing had to admit that, although Yu Fei was very arrogant, his talent was indeed very evil. He comprehended the power of space. Although the laws of the domain he established were in their infancy, it was already equivalent to the realm of immortals. Destroy. The space under Yanqing's feet was immediately shattered, and the huge tearing force wanted to annihilate Yanqing's body. Freezing fist. Yanqing punched out, flattening the space. His figure was like a dream, and he left the place like a gust of wind, avoiding the attack. I want to see how much freezing air you can swing. Dimensional blades. Yufei laughed wildly, as if he wanted to vent his depression, and teased Yanqing. Countless blades that were invisible to the naked eye pointed directly at Yanqing, wanting to cut him into pieces. Yanqing relied on the perception ability of the microcosm to dodge continuously, but these blades became more and more, covering this space, and under the constraint of gravity, Yanqing's speed could not be increased to the maximum speed. Boom. Yanqing was unable to dodge, and a piece of clothing, and a piece of flesh on his shoulder, were caught in the broken space, and crushed into nothingness. Yanqing frowned. This field was really asterisk, and there was no solution. Logically, no matter how strong this field was, there should be a limit, but looking at these countless dimensional blades, this source of power seemed endless, and there was no problem of consumption. Could it be? Yanqing had a flash of inspiration in his mind. TSK, what's wrong? What's wrong? Where's your arrogance just now? Show me some more arrogance. Haha. Yufei was immersed in the pleasure of completely defeating Yanqing. Flip. The domain flipped over immediately, and gravity also changed its direction. Yanqing, who was bound by gravity, lost his center of gravity, and could not move quickly. Damn it. Yanqing's face changed, and his speed dropped. The dimensional blade could not escape. Yufei's eyes flashed with excitement, and he laughed wildly. Die. He pointed his hand, and more than 10 dimensional blades pierced in instantly. Snap. When the dimensional blade was only a few millimeters away from Yanqing, it was successfully frozen in time by Yanqing's freezing air. Yanqing breathed a sigh of relief. He finally caught up. He was almost finished. However, Yanqing smiled as he looked at the dimensional blade that fell to the ground and was frozen into shape and slowly disappeared. Through this, it is not bad to find the vital point of this domain. HMPH, kid, you are lucky, but next time, I want to see if you can still be so lucky. Serial flips. Yufei shouted, looking at the smile on Yanqing's face. He was really angry. The domain flipped again. This time it had to flip many times, trying to disrupt Yanqing's center of gravity and make Yanqing unable to defend against the dimensional blade. However, to Yufei's surprise, Yanqing's body emitted an extremely bright white light, and the frost froze the dimensional blades that attacked into shape. What? Yufei was shocked that Yanqing actually had so much spare energy to resist. It's time to end it. Yanqing said quietly. Oh, you said it's time to end it. Yes, it's indeed time for you to end it. After all, the frost burst out. What else do you have to rely on? Before you die, have you finally recognized yourself? Yufei sneered. No, I said it's time for you to end it. Yufei, I have found the weakness of this domain. Yanqing said slowly. The weakness of this domain? TSK, this domain is perfect. The power of this domain is not infinite, it just transforms the invisible power of space. The dimensional blade was frozen and destroyed, but it was still transformed into power by the domain, and can be regenerated into a wind blade. It consumes energy, but it consumes very little, so it gives me the illusion of infinity. So what? Can you destroy it? No matter how much you destroy my domain, I can restore it. You just stay here, and let me kill you. Yufei said disdainfully. If destroying part of it doesn't work, it will be transformed and restored, so just destroy it all. Yanqing's eyes flashed with a sharp light, and he said heavily, "Oh, don't talk big." Yufei mocked. Then let's try it. The white light on Yanqing's body became more intense, and he roared loudly, "Burn, my little universe. White bird, wake up." An elegant white bird appeared from Yanqing's body, flapping its wings, sprinkling countless ice crystals. The white bird chirped, and the cold air covered the sky and filled the entire domain. The light of the microcosm made Yanqing look like a god, sacred and powerful. What is this? Yufei looked at the strange changes in Yanqing, and a bad feeling emerged in his heart. No, we have to strike first, and can't delay any longer. Limit destruction. The entire domain space began to collapse rapidly with Yanqing as the center, submerging Yanqing in the broken space. Ha 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 ha, let me see how you survive. Yufei laughed wildly. However, Yufei didn't feel proud for long, and a brilliant white light appeared from the broken space, making Yufei shut his mouth. Aurora lightning shock. Boom. Boom. Snap. Snap. Countless ice crystals suddenly appeared with a huge freezing air tornado, sweeping everything, completely smoothing the space, and the ice crystals connected together to form an ice wall, completely freezing the entire domain. The temperature dropped by dozens of degrees. As soon as Yufei opened his mouth, his breath instantly condensed into ice slag. What's going on? This extremely powerful freezing air, this terrible move, actually completely froze my domain. What on earth is going on? Yufei was shaking constantly. He was already afraid. The power of the Aurora lightning strike is enough to freeze the ocean, not to mention your tiny domain. Yanqing walked out of the ice world. He was covered in frost. With every step he took, countless ice crystals fell to the ground. His eyes were sharp. He stared at Yufei like a lion staring at its prey. Yanqing threw out a sentence with such domineering power that Yufei felt like he was falling into an ice cellar. Yufei, I haven't used my full strength yet. Next, will you kill me, or I kill you? Chapter 31 Diamond Stardust Fist. My heaven control domain was actually broken by a person of the 5th level of the innate realm. Yufei muttered. Even though he didn't want to believe this fact, the frozen domain, the intact Yanqing, and the overwhelming cold air all indicated that this incredible fact had indeed happened. Am I going to die here today? Yufei looked at Yanqing, and panic began to surge in his heart, but the dignity of the family heir prevented him from begging Yanqing for mercy. No, I have to stay calm. Although the domain is frozen, I can still use it again with the energy in my body at this time, and Yanqing is afraid that he has exhausted it, otherwise he should have taken action directly just now, and would not waste time with me. Yufei carefully deduced in his mind, and his confidence returned a little. Yufei sneered at Yanqing. Boy, I was almost fooled by you. You have no strength left, and I can use the heaven control domain again. Can you still block me? Yanqing sneered and looked at Yufei with contempt. I'm really worried about your IQ. When did I have no strength left? Do you think you can still move? Look around you. Yufei glanced at his surroundings, and was immediately shocked. A bright ice crystal ring was constantly rotating around his body, blocking his body's movement. How can this small ice ring? It's impossible. My body can't move. Yufei kept struggling, and his energy burst out, but he still couldn't move. The ice ring, also known as the ice crystal ring, can bind a person's body and make it impossible for a person to move. Yufei, you can't get rid of this ice ring. Yanqing said word by word. He was very calm and had a complete understanding of Yufei's movements. Damn it, Yanqing, when I get out, I will never let you go. Yufei's eyes were red. He had never felt so humiliated. He was just like a lamb, to be slaughtered in a slaughterhouse. Yufei, you have no chance. I will send you on your way. I will not hesitate to deal with you. Without waiting for Yufei to reply, Yanqing's body flashed with light, and his small universe exploded. Many people were killed by the enemy because they talked too much nonsense and hesitated, but Yanqing was obviously not one of them. He did not hesitate at all, and directly used his strongest move. The secret of the white bird, the diamond stardust fist. Yanqing stretched his body and danced as gracefully as a waltz, as if a white bird was flying. The freezing air continued to accumulate, releasing terrifying pressure. Yufei anxiously wanted to break free from the ice ring, but he could not do so. He could only watch Yanqing use this move on him. Open it, open it, open it. Yufei, filled with fear, poured out all the energy in his body, finally broke free, and shattered the ice ring. But when he broke free, Yanqing had already completed the move. I have accumulated so much cold air for so long. Don't let me down. Yanqing murmured to himself, and the blue cold air in his hand condensed, shining like diamonds. Diamond Stardust Fist. The cold white bat chirped, extremely elegant, flying gracefully, as bright as diamonds, and as beautiful as stardust, freezing everything with white ice and snow. This is the greatest mystery of the white bird. No, it's impossible. How can I die? Yufei has not yet woken up from the joy of breaking free from the ice ring, and immediately faced a death crisis that he has never had before. The domain of the sky. Yu Fei used the forbidden secret technique. The demon disintegrated and forcibly restored to the peak state, but Yanqing did not give him any time to recover. The wind was whistling, the snow was dancing wildly, and the ice was condensing. The palm of heaven domain was completely frozen again in a few breaths, and Yu Fei's body was gradually covered with a layer of ice crystals. The energy in his body was exhausted, and he could not resist the collision of ice crystals. I'm not willing to accept this, Yu Fei roared. He was too careless. If he had killed Yanqing directly when Yanqing entered the domain and not played tricks on Yanqing and let Yanqing figure it out, he would have won long ago. Unfortunately, there is no if. Snap, snap, snap. The ice crystals on Yu Fei's body spread. In just 5 seconds, the diamond stardust fist completely froze Yu Fei and killed Yu Fei's life. Yanqing took a long breath and relaxed his body. He walked forward, looked at Yu Fei, and said, winning is winning, losing is losing. Where is the unwillingness? Knowing that this is a battle of life and death, you don't have to use all your strength. Even if you are a genius, you are essentially just a piece of mud that can't be helped. Yanqing threw a punch at the frozen Yu Fei with all his strength. Boom. The ice broke, and Yu Fei's body also broke into hundreds of pieces. In this case, even if the Saint Emperor takes action, he can't be resurrected. Yanqing whispered. Although he is kind-hearted and very emotional, it does not mean that he will hold back against those who want to kill him and destroy his family. He will kill those who threaten him and his family without hesitation and not give them the slightest chance to survive. Since you want to attack me and my family, you must understand what the price is. After Yanqing dealt with the matter here, he looked at Fengling. Fengling and Yi Chang were fighting fiercely. Both of them were concentrating and dared not be distracted for fear of being caught by the opponent. The two combination skills collided fiercely, changing the climate within a radius of 3 miles. There were lightning and thunder on Fengling's side, and clouds, dragons, wind, and tigers. On Yi Chang's side, there were sunny and scorching sun, earth snakes and celestial phenomena. Yanqing took a breath of cold air. This was the real duel of the transcendent realm. Compared with him and Yu Fei, every move of these two people was as heavy as a feather, shaking the world, and possessing a powerful power. The time lasted for 20 minutes, and Fengling was a little tired, but she still frequently used the wind cross technique. She had to defeat Yi Chang no matter what, because only in this way would he and she be safe. Yi Chang's fist struck the sky, and a golden sun appeared on his back, blessing him, making him fearless in battle. His face became relaxed. He knew that Fengling had begun to fail, and he would soon win, and then kill Yanqing and complete his plan. I don't know what happened to Yu Fei, Yi Chang thought to himself. While the pressure was slightly reduced, he glanced at the place where Yanqing and Yu Fei had fought. But this time, he didn't see the two people, but only saw a lot of broken ice. Where did they go? Yi Chang thought. He dodged Fengling's attack and glanced again. This time he subtly discovered that there were many broken limbs and flesh in the broken ice, and there was a strand of red hair in one of the broken ice. Could it be? Yi Chang's heart sank, and before he could think about it, a faint sense of threat came from behind, accompanied by a voice that he was very familiar with and hated. Pegasus Meteor Fist. Chapter 32, Peak Showdown. Blue and white meteors fell one after another, cutting through space at the speed of sound, and attacking Yi Zhang. Yi Zhang realized it very late, and did not notice Yanqing. His energy was all used in the duel with Fengling. He had no time to change his moves, and could only passively bear the blow. Puff. Yi Zhang spat out a mouthful of blood. Yanqing's move could throw hundreds of punches in an instant. So many punches overlapped and bombarded his body. Even if he had the golden sun to protect himself, he was still a little overwhelmed. Being attacked by Yanqing and Fengling, the situation was very unfavorable. He had to get away. 8 desolate fists. Yi Zhang shouted, twisting all his strength together and throwing 3 strongest punches. Boom. 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 His fists flashed with golden light and were indestructible. The first punch crushed all the crosswind blades. The second punch stopped the rotation of the tornado and made it still. The third punch directly destroyed the huge tornado. Yi Zhang took the opportunity to retreat and get rid of the crisis. Yanqing also returned to Fengling, guarding the pale-faced Fengling. Looking at the living Yanqing, Yichang knew that Yufei was dead. Fengling, you are okay? Yanqing asked with concern. Of course I'm okay. Who am I? If my cultivation is restored, it would be easy to kill him with one hand. Did you solve Yufei? Fengling panted and did not forget to flatter herself. Well, I have already cut him into pieces, so I can come to help you. Ah, cut him into pieces. You are really cruel, but it's good to be like this. You have to be cold and emotionless when dealing with enemies. You have 10 minutes left, so let's get rid of this guy within 10 minutes. Yanqing said. You are really confident, but I like it. Well, then let's go together and let him know how powerful the male and female evil spirits are. Fengling waved her little fist and said, male and female evil spirits, what is this name? Yanqing's mind was full of black lines. Don't care about these details, you will lose if you take it seriously. Fengling said with a smile. Yanqing stood silently beside her, looking at Yichang. As long as Yichang is solved, all crises will be solved. Yanqing suddenly grabbed Fengling's hand, which startled Fengling, and then she felt uncomfortable and blushed. She wanted to break free, but was held tightly by Yanqing. She said shyly, what are you doing? We are fighting. If you want to do something shameless, wait until there is no one, okay? Hey, miss, please don't make up your mind. I'm doing serious business. Yanqing's hand quickly moved on Fengling's hand, writing out words one by one. I have a disposable weapon that can destroy anyone below the level of immortals. Fengling was stunned, and then she understood. She looked at Yanqing in surprise and said, is there really such a thing? Yanqing nodded and said, yes. So you have to cover me. I want to find a suitable time to end Yichang. Okay, I believe you. Fengling smiled. Have you guys talked enough? Yizong showed a sarcastic look. Instead of talking, he might as well recover his physical strength. Yizong had already recovered 2/3 of his energy. No matter how strong Fengling was, he could only last for 7 or 8 minutes. He felt Yanqing's attack just now. It was equivalent to that of an ordinary transcendent realm, but it was not a big threat to him. I'll give you time to extend your life, but you still don't want to. Since you want to die early, then come. Let's decide the outcome with one move. Fengling said domineeringly. Flowing wind, please turn into the sharpest blade. This is a move that Fengling has never shown. There is wind between heaven and earth. Wind is a phenomenon. Through the phenomenon, the essence is actually a flow of ki. It can be as sharp as a knife, as warm as water, and as neutral and peaceful. At this moment, Fengling exerted the characteristics of wind to the extreme. There was no wind between heaven and earth. The snow-capped mountains raging in the blizzard also quieted down. The air stopped flowing. Only the blade-like nothingness exuded the power to cut through everything. Yizong's face was solemn. Fengling had already begun to touch the secret of the immortal. This blade made him feel the crisis of death. In this case, he had to use his strongest secret. Heavenly Sun technique. A golden sun rose behind Yizong, increasing the strength of his whole body. Silver hegemony body. A ball of silver light shone from Yizong's hands, and the light quickly covered his whole body, as if it had turned into silver, with a metallic texture and luster. The forbidden martial arts of the Yi family, silver hegemony body. I didn't expect you to comprehend even this. Fengling said in surprise. The Yi family's silver hegemony body can improve a person's physical strength by a large realm. That is to say, after the physical defense of the transcendent realm is improved, it will reach the immortal level and have the defense of an immortal. I'm Yizong, so naturally I can learn everything. Yizong answered domineeringly. He swung his fists, and the 8 desolations appeared in his fists. Asterisk asterisk as the fists merged, his hands seemed to evolve into a small world. The boxing method struck horizontally, like a towering mountain pressing down, and there seemed to be an aura that shook everything. Yanqing's face was solemn. Yizong was indeed very powerful. Although he was in the transcendent realm, his talent was against heaven. In ancient books, asterisk asterisk was up, down, left, right, front and back, and the 8 wastelands were east, southeast, south, southwest, west, northwest, north and northeast. Asterisk asterisk the 8 wastelands was the universe, which was stronger than Yufei's you. Boom. The world seemed to explode. That silver fist was about to sweep everything away. Cut! Feng Ling shouted loudly, and the wind turned into a blade, slashing at Yi Zhang. The blade seemed to have only the characteristic of being sharp. Yanqing could see that the space was twisted and broken in a line, colliding with Yi Zhang's silver fist. Boom. The snow mountain collapsed. The ice and snow in a radius of 10 miles turned into powder. The violent energy impact, the aftermath almost lifted Yanqing off. He supported himself on the ground with one hand, and the frozen air condensed into an ice wall, sticking him and the earth together to resist the huge impact. So strong, he actually overturned the world. This was actually caused by human power, which was incredible. Sure enough, in this era, cultivation is the mainstream, and there is a reason. The transcendent realm is so terrifying. How strong should the immortals, saints, and even emperors above it be? Yanqing was shocked. In the AD era, technology was the mainstream, and there was no cultivation at all. 5,000 years later, technology took a backseat, and cultivation became the mainstream. His concept was completely overturned at this moment. Clang! The void blade slashed on the silver fist, making a crisp metallic sound. The collision lasted only a moment, and even though Yi Zhang's fist had the defense of an immortal, it was cut open, and blood flowers bloomed, revealing bones. The void blade continued to cut open, but was blocked by Yi Zhang's other silver fist. Yi Zhang swung his fists to the limit. Bang, bang, bang. Yi Zhang swung his fists continuously, accurately bombarding a point on the void blade. His fist was bleeding and almost broken, but he still swung his fists, because he knew that this was a wrestling with the god of death, and if the bombardment was not correct, he might fall. Snap! The blade of nothingness finally cracked and shattered with a bang. Yi Zhang took a deep breath, and the energy in his body was almost exhausted. He looked at Feng Ling, whose breath was rapidly weakening after the demon had disintegrated, and smiled victoriously. He won this round. But at this time, Feng Ling suddenly smiled, and he couldn't help but frown. What was Feng Ling laughing at? Chapter 33, Pegasus spinning crushing fist. Is he pinning his hopes on Yanqing? It's a pity. Although he is fully focused on the battle, he has already figured out Yanqing's movements. Yi Zhang's eyes moved slightly, noticing that Yanqing was attacking him. How strong can Yanqing be? He has understood the mysteries of immortals, and he is not someone who can be defeated by a mere person of the 5th level of innateness. Yi Zhang stretched out his hand and pressed it downward. Bang! The land around Yi Zhang, which is 100 meters away, suddenly sank 1 meter. This is not to strengthen gravity, but the materialized pressure from the asterisk boxing field, which is similar to strengthening gravity. Yanqing stopped. The more he moved forward, the stronger the pressure became. When he was 10 meters away from Yi Zhang, the pressure was so strong that he almost knelt down. Yanqing, do you think you can sneak attack me? Ridiculous. Yi Zhang turned around and stretched out his palm. This palm suddenly enlarged and grasped Yanqing tightly. Yi Zhang looked at Yanqing with mockery in his eyes, and he squeezed hard. Poof! Yanqing spat out blood, his bones rattled, and he was almost crushed. What a ridiculous person. Feng Ling, is there something wrong with your brain? You actually believe that this person can sneak attack me? Yi Zhang was sure of victory, full of superiority, as if he was a high god. My brain is fine, but you seem to have become a little idiotic. Don't you know my style of doing things? Yanqing, I believe him. Feng Ling sneered. Yi Zhang, do you think you really won? I say, don't take yourself too seriously. Yanqing roared. His small universe exploded, power surged, and he broke free. Yi Zhang was slightly startled, then relaxed and said with a smile, what can you do to threaten me? Even if you can defeat ordinary transcendental realm geniuses, I'm not comparable to those rubbish. If you treat me the same as them, you are really naive. Feng Ling has fallen to the 6th level of the innate realm. The power that can threaten me has disappeared. AI Zhang is dead, Yu Fei is dead, and their family will not be recognized by Xian Fu, and will be destroyed in the future. With the Yang family, Feng family, Yu family, and AI family as the cornerstone, my Yu family will surely become the strongest family in the starfield under my leadership. Yi Zhang thought of the beautiful future that was within reach, and couldn't help but be intoxicated. You think too much. Yi Zhang, today I will end your dream. Yanqing's fingers emitted a circle of spiral frost, which wrapped around Yi Zhang. You dare to use this move? What's going on? My body can't move. Yi Zhang was shocked. He looked down and saw that there were 7 ice crystal rings surrounding his body, blocking his movements. What kind of trick is this? When did I get hit? Yi Zhang struggled, his energy gushing out, and he tried to break it with both hands, but he couldn't do it. He broke one ice ring, but another one appeared. You don't need to know this, you just need to know that you will die. Yanqing slowly approached Yi Zhang, his fingers constantly emitting cold air to maintain the ice ring. Yanqing had been accumulating cold air when Yi Zhang and Feng Ling were fighting, and after the battle, he buried the cold air under Yi Zhang's feet to prepare for the release of the ice ring. When Yanqing was grabbed by Yi Zhang, he quietly activated the ice ring. It only took one ice ring to trap Yu Fei, but in order to trap Yi Zhang, Yanqing used up all his strength and condensed 7 ice rings, and all these ice rings interacted with each other to amplify the freezing effect. Yanqing's fingers continued to emit cold air and connected with the ice ring. When Yi Zhang breaks the crystal ring, the frozen air extending from Yanqing will condense into a crystal ring again, and this cycle will repeat endlessly. Yanqing looked at the trapped Yi Zhang, and suddenly an idea came to his mind. He remembered another secret of Pegasus, which might come in handy at this time. Ice crystal is a killer, and it should not be used if it is not necessary. If you still have all your strength, Feng Ling and I would have escaped far away. Unfortunately, your energy is exhausted, and you can't get rid of this ring. Yanqing walked behind Yi Zhang, stood still and said. He thought about it carefully and decided not to use the ice crystal for the time being. If Yi Zhang can withstand this move, it will not be too late to use it. Yi Zhang's face was gloomy. He didn't expect Yanqing to have this trick. No wonder Yu Fei also fell into his hands. However, Yi Zhang smiled. What a beautiful sneak attack, but it still has no effect on me. I have been on guard against you before, Yanqing. A silver light flashed on Yi Zhang's body. The silver armor not only has a defensive effect, but also can reduce the damage of freezing, fire and even various attacks. Hey! Yi Zhang shouted, and the light burst out, and all 7 ice rings shattered. Now, you are so close to me. Are you going to kill me, or am I going to kill you? Yi Zhang stared at Yanqing with a smile. Of course I will kill you. Yanqing suddenly hugged Yi Zhang. The ice ring is just to paralyze you. This is the move I want to use. Pegasus Spinning Crushing Fist. The secret of Pegasus. Yanqing has only used Pegasus Meteor Fist, and Pegasus Comet Fist and Pegasus Spinning Crushing Fist have not been used. Pegasus Comet Fist requires a microcosm to reach a certain level, which Yanqing cannot do at this time. Pegasus Spinning Crushing Fist has 2 harsh conditions for use, but its power is extremely powerful, comparable to Comet Fist. What? Yi Zhang was shocked. He fell into the trap. Yanqing hugged Yi Zhang from behind, and the two of them rose into the air at a very high speed and disappeared into the sky. Yanqing. Feng Ling looked at the sky and said anxiously, why is it different from what Yanqing said? Wasn't he going to use that thing? Why did he use such a nearly suicidal trick? Was it false that he said he had a weapon that could destroy opponents below the level of immortals? She didn't understand it at all. Rising at a high speed, falling at a high speed. Yanqing, do you want to die with me? Don't let go. Yi Zhang kept struggling, but Yanqing's hands held him tightly like a giant clamp, making him unable to move. I won't die, but you will die, Yi Zhang. I will use this trick to see you off. Yanqing fell backwards at a high speed, and the speed began to increase again. The air was torn apart, and a sonic boom sounded. The two people fell like meteors and crashed into the snow mountain. Boom. Large pieces of rock rolled down, and a narrow crack appeared on the snow mountain, almost splitting the snow mountain in half. In the center of the violent collision, a huge pit appeared. Feng Ling's face was pale, and she almost couldn't stand. Was Yanqing dead? She stumbled forward and shouted to the deep bottomless pit, Yanqing. The echo resounded in the silent snowy mountains, very clear, but no one responded at all. Feng Ling felt lost. Yi Zhang was dead, but Yanqing was dead. She couldn't be happy, but was very sad. Tears flowed down her cheeks and ripped on the snow. Why did you lie to me? Are you really dead? Feng Ling murmured, but at this moment, a weak voice came, which shocked her spirit. "Hey, miss, I'm not dead yet, please don't curse me." "Yanqing, where are you?" Feng Ling said in surprise, running to the place where the voice came from. "Ahem, I'm here." Yanqing twisted his body and slowly walked out of the pit. His body was covered with bruises and scratches everywhere. "Why did you use this trick to commit suicide? Are you stupid? And is that thing you said fake? Why not use it? Do you know that I'm worried about you?" Feng Ling's words burst out like jumping beans. "Well, I didn't lie to you. I just thought it would be more appropriate to use this trick at this time. It's a pity that the weapon was used up. Also, this trick is not for suicide. It's just that I haven't used it before, I'm not familiar with it, and I didn't leave in time." Yanqing touched his hair and smiled. "You idiot." Feng Ling was angry and stepped on Yanqing. Yanqing changed his mind at the last minute without telling her. "Hey, it hurts. Hey, by the way, what's wrong with your eyes? They are so red." "Could it be?" Yanqing looked at Feng Ling's face. "I laughed, laughing at you for using this trick that would kill both of you when you clearly had a better way. I thought you were dead, so I laughed and cried." Feng Ling said seriously, but the shame on her face could not be covered. "What a serious nonsense. What about Li Chang?" Feng Ling asked. "He's still alive. That guy has a silver-clad tyrant body, and his body is very strong. Although he didn't break into pieces, he was crippled. He's about to die, and he's only hanging on with one breath." Yanqing said. "Why don't you kill him? What if he escapes?" Feng Ling said angrily. Yanqing shook his head and said, "He can't escape. Go and see. He's already." Welcome all book friends to read. The latest, fastest, and hottest serialized works are all here. Chapter 34. Close your eyes. First update. As you can see now, all his bones are shattered. He has lost more than 80% of his blood, and there is a big hole in his head. You can feel that his spirit is escaping, which means that his soul is beginning to disappear. Yanqing said as he looked at the dying Yizang. "It's really miserable. Yizang, what do you want to say about your situation today?" Feng Ling stood beside Yizang and said to him. "Heh, what else is there to say? Losing, it's losing. The plan is not perfect, that's all." Yizang murmured. His speech was unclear, and he had a hard time speaking. His life had come to an end. "It's just a pity, my family." Yizang stretched out a trembling hand and grabbed at the sky, but he didn't catch anything, and finally fell down powerlessly. He didn't close his eyes, but opened them wide, unwilling to accept it. Yanqing was silent for a while, squatted down, gently brushed his hand on Yizang's bloody face, and helped him close his eyes. The wind and snow blew again, and snowflakes fell one after another, gradually covering Yizang's cold body, burying Yizang's dream and the hope of a family to dominate. Family, Feng Ling sighed. Everything Yizang did was to prosper the family, and she and Yanqing also wanted to protect the family and prevent it from being destroyed. In this process, each of them had their own persistence, and there was no right or wrong. "Let's go. Things are not over yet. Yang Ze still needs us to rescue." Yanqing stood up and said. Yizang's death touched him a little. He knew that there would be more battles waiting for him in the future, and now it was just the beginning. "Well, now the situation has been reversed, and it's our turn to take the initiative next," Feng Ling said. Although she was in the 6th level of innateness, she, who had comprehended the mysteries of the immortals, could also defeat ordinary geniuses in the mortal realm. And Yanqing was even stronger. The trick of taking off and then falling from the sky was really powerful. If Lei Bo and Janice blocked them, they would be courting death. The two people walked forward on the previous road. They wanted to return to the original way to rescue Yang Ze. Just after walking a few dozen steps, Yanqing suddenly stopped, threw a heavy punch backwards, and broke the rock next to the huge pit, burying Yizang's body. After doing all this, Yanqing continued on his way. Feng Ling, who was beside him, looked at Yanqing's resolute face and smiled gently. Was he respecting his enemy, or was he thinking that he might become like that in the future, so he buried the body? "Yanqing, you are really different from others. I like you like this. I hope your heart will always be like this in the future," Feng Ling said silently in her heart. Yanqing and Fengling walked side by side, and their figures slowly disappeared in the wind and snow. After all the people disappeared, the snow-capped mountains regained their former tranquility. From the east to the west, the journey was very long. Along the way, Yanqing and Fengling met many people. These people were the third-level trialists who had just walked out of the small jungle. They were full of momentum and kept moving forward. We will also speed up. Although the results of the third level are not important, if you don't reach it within 3 months, you will be disqualified. Fengling said. Okay, then we too will split up. You go ask the trial participants. Maybe someone has seen Yangze. I'll go find him directly. This will be faster. Not only looking for Yangze, but also the traces of Janus and Rapu. They are chasing Yangze, and the two parties should be very close. Fengling considered. Indeed, this is also very important. Thank you, Fengling. Yanqing was so concerned that he couldn't think of this for a while. Fengling thought of this very calmly, which could greatly narrow the scope of the search, which made Yanqing very grateful. What are you talking about? I don't need you to thank me. After all, we share life and death, and will never leave each other. Fengling said in panic. Well, although it is true, the wording is really subtle. Yanqing held the communicator and sent a short message which stated the situation he and Fengling had experienced and asked Yangze to tell him where he was. At the same time, Yanqing sped up and kept looking for Yangze's traces in the jungle. Fengling asked the trial participants if they had seen any traces of Yangze, Janus, and Leibo. 2 hours later, when Yanqing had been searching in vain and had not received any reply to the text message, Fengling finally received a very important message and made a breakthrough. Yanqing, a trial participant, said that he had seen Leibo near a waterfall in the west. Leibo was very angry for some reason at the time. After seeing him, Leibo blew him away. Fengling turned on the communicator and said, "Near the waterfall? Then let's go quickly. Yangze won't stay in one place for a long time. It will be bad if we are late and don't meet him." Yanqing was a little impatient. He was very worried that something might happen to Yangze. We will meet up as we go. Yangze is surrounded by 2 transcendent realms. 1 more minute means 1 more danger. Fengling hung up the communicator and ran towards the waterfall in the west. Yanqing also changed direction and headed west to meet up with Fengling. At this time, Yangze was hiding in a dark and damp cave, curled up. His body was soaked, but he didn't dare to take off his clothes, because above his hiding cave, Janus was using his mental power to sweep the area over and over again, and he was afraid of making a little noise and being discovered by Janus. After using the teleportation spell to escape dozens of miles, Yangze tried his best to escape as far away from Janus and Leibo as possible, but his speed was still very slow compared to people in the transcendent realm. After more than a day, he was caught up. Fortunately, he noticed it, sneaked into the waterfall, and quietly drilled into a cave that had been prepared by the river, avoiding the detection of Janus and Leibo. However, his situation is really bad now. His internal strength is exhausted, and he is controlled by Janus, and dare not move. Moreover, he has not eaten for dozens of hours, and his body's resistance has become very weak. He can clearly feel that he has a fever, and the temperature is not ordinary. Am I, Yangze, going to die from a minor illness like a fever? This is really a joke. I wonder how Yanqing and the others are doing. If my communicator wasn't unusable because it had been soaked in too much water, it would be a good idea to ask. Since I can't escape, I'll just attract these 2 people here. This will help relieve the pressure on your side. However, I can't hold on for too long. When I'm gone, you 2 have to live well, especially you, Yanqing. No matter what, you can't die. The family depends on you. Yangze murmured. At this moment, he really couldn't hold on any longer. He had to close his eyes and fell asleep. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35. Angry, extremely calm Yanqing. Second. Damn it, where did Yangze go? Leibo punched the rocks under the waterfall, shaking the whole waterfall and startling countless birds. I'm sure he's here. There's no need to look for him anywhere else. My feral family's golden eyes can sense his presence. Janice said. What's the use of just sensing it? We still can't find him. The two of us are not doing a good job and have been ignored by Yizang and his men. The 4 people can't get through the communicator, no matter how hard we try. Leibo said angrily. He was very angry when he was held back by a person of the 6th level of innateness. They probably went to chase Fengling and had no time to take care of us. Although I'm very unwilling, there's nothing I can do. Yang Zhen is indeed difficult to catch. Janice said calmly. In that case, why not destroy this place completely so that Yang Zhen will have to come out? How about it? Leibo grinned. I agree. If we are held here for a long time, the benefits we get will be much less. As the heir of a merchant family, Janice puts benefits first. I'll mark the area where the aura I sense is located. We'll destroy it from the outside and keep pushing inward. This way, we won't miss any place. Yang Zhen will definitely come out. Janice stretched out his hand and drew a circle, pointing it to Leibo. Haha, let's start. Leibo was wrapped in lightning, like the god of thunder descending to the earth. His right fist flashed with a blazing white light and made a rumbling sound. Thunder fist. This punch was like a thunderbolt destroying the world. Countless lightning bolts danced like silver snakes and fell to the earth. Many rocks were smashed into pieces, and the lush forests turned into ashes. The Rista family was famous for controlling lightning. Leibo was the most outstanding heir of the Rista family. He had a lightning constitution and was born to be close to lightning. His every move had the power of heaven and earth. Janus also took action. His hands flashed with golden light. He pressed down with one palm, like a mountain pressing down on his head, destroying everything within a radius of 1 mile. The earth sank, leaving a huge palm print. This is the golden palm, which can overturn the world in the sea. It is extremely powerful. The feral family is a merchant family that values money, so the family's unique skills are the golden catalog, which contains many moves, such as the golden palm, the golden sky eye, and the golden treasure house. The thunder shook the sky and the gold shone. This terrifying vision can be seen from dozens of miles away. Haha, come out, Yang Zhen. Boom. Leibo punched out, knocking down the entire waterfall. The turbulent water flowed back immediately, the rocks rolled down, and the earth collapsed. Yang Zhen, who was hiding in the cave, felt the violent vibration, and woke up suddenly. The wet cave began to collapse, and clods of soil kept falling. What's going on with this vibration? Could it be that Leibo and Janice want to force me out? No, I have to leave here quickly. I will die if I stay here. Yang Zhe stood up and staggered. He was very weak due to the high fever. He fell to the ground before he walked far. Just as he was about to struggle to get up, a clod of soil suddenly hit him on the back of his head, making him faint. Boom. The cave finally collapsed completely and sank down, burying Yang Zhe. What's wrong with Yang Zhe? Why hasn't he come out yet? We have leveled 4/5 of this area. Isn't he here? Leibo asked in confusion. No, he is here. The golden sky's ability to capture breath cannot be wrong. Yang Zhe may still be waiting for the opportunity and not making any rash moves. Let's continue. Janice thought. Soon, the entire area was destroyed, but Yang Zhe still did not appear. This made Janice hesitate. He could not be sure whether Yang Zhe stayed here at this time. Is your golden sky eye useful? Is he really here? He didn't show up even after destroying everything. Leibo was a little angry. It should be here. Am I really deceived? Janice wavered. A golden light flashed on his forehead. He used the golden sky eye to observe again. Yang Zhe's breath had disappeared. Janice sighed secretly. Maybe he really made a mistake. Sorry, I made a mistake. Let's keep looking. Janice said. TSK, I wasted a lot of time again. Leibo put his hands on the back of his head, very frustrated. Just when the two were about to leave, a figure that tore through the air and reached the speed of sound suddenly appeared, like a meteorite hitting the earth, and landed in front of them with a bang, and the earth shook violently, like an earthquake. The man slowly raised his head, his eyes were bloodshot, and seemed to be red. He stared at Janice and Libo, calmly suppressing his anger, and said, "I said to you too, did I let you leave?" Libo was stunned, took a closer look at the man's cultivation, and then laughed wildly, holding his stomach and said, "Janice, this man has a problem with his brain, but he is only at the 5th level of innate, but he dares to be arrogant in front of the two of us. Doesn't he know who the two of us are?" Janice's eyes flickered. He was not as arrogant as Libo. This man was extremely fast. Even when he used the golden sky eye, he could only see a streak of after images. He must not be underestimated. He said, "Brother, is there any misunderstanding between us? Tell us and we will solve it. We can make money by being harmonious." "Oh, making money by being harmonious is ridiculous. Can't you recognize who I am? I'm Yanqing, from the Yang family." Yanqing's black hair moved without wind. His anger had reached its limit. Dozens of miles away, when he sensed Yang's breath, he finally felt relieved. But when he saw the thunder and lightning at the waterfall, and the images were all over the place, he had a bad feeling in his heart. He immediately accelerated to the extreme, fearing that something might happen to Yang's. However, he was still a step late. Yang's breath was constantly weakening. When he arrived here, Yang's breath had disappeared without leaving a trace. This means that Yang's has unforgivable, absolutely unforgivable. Yanqing's anger finally erupted like a volcano. It was the first time he was so furious. The blazing anger seemed to melt everything, causing the small universe of the initial stage of the sixth sense to continue to rise and reach a higher level. "Yanqing, haha, we didn't have any hope of killing you, but you came to our door on your own. Yi Chang and the others are really not good enough. It's really good that I, Libo, can get more things." Libo looked at Yanqing greedily, as if he was looking at a pile of huge star coins. Really? After Yanqing's anger reached its peak, he calmed down instead. Now his strength surpassed his previous strength and completely defeated the two people in front of him. First punch. Whoosh. Yanqing moved and instantly exceeded the speed of sound. His right hand clenched into a fist, flashing an unprecedented light, and his fist hit Libo's face heavily. Boom. Libo flew backwards at a high speed and hit a rock several hundred meters away, smashing the huge rock. His pupils dilated. He couldn't see Yanqing's attack clearly, and couldn't avoid it at all. Libo was stunned. Is this still the 5th level of innate? His face was completely numb, and he had no feeling. He touched it, and found that his skin was rotten, blood spurted out in large quantities, and his bones were exposed. "This is the first punch. There are 2 more punches," Yanqing said calmly. At this moment, he looked like a terrifying demon in Libo's eyes. Yanqing was finally going to kill. Everyone voted for him, and 12 bowed in thanks. Chapter 36. Despair after teasing. Third update. Who are you? Yanqing is definitely not that powerful. Janice felt cold in his heart. He couldn't dodge the attack just now. If Yanqing punched him, he would end up like Libo. "I'm Yanqing, and no one else." Yanqing was very calm. He stepped forward and passed Janice, but Janice didn't make any move. It wasn't that he didn't want to make a move, but he didn't dare to. He could only watch. Yanqing stood in front of Libo and said lightly, "Don't you want to kill me? Make a move." Libo reacted and saw the mockery in Yanqing's eyes. His face turned purple. Since he was born, no one had dared to treat him like this. Damn it, damn it, damn it. How dare you make a move on me? I will definitely pull out your tendons and skin you, cut you into pieces, and make you live a life worse than death. Libo went crazy. Thunder fist. Hundreds of lightning bolts wrapped around his fists, crackling and hissing. The fiery fist light condensed, and the violent lightning formed a thick light column, sweeping across an area. The places where the light column passed were directly vaporized and disappeared. What a line for a lost dog. Is your anger only this extent? It's ridiculous. Yanqing said lightly. He stretched out a hand, spread his palm, and a ball of cold air appeared. Freeze fist. Snap. Snap. The light column was immediately frozen as soon as it approached Yanqing 10 meters. Even if the lightning released a high energy, it was just the movement of atoms. As long as it was the movement of atoms, Yanqing's ice fighting skills could slow down the speed of atomic movement and then shatter it. Yanqing lightly touched the frozen light column with his hand, and the light column shattered instantly. Yanqing's action was calm and relaxed. Impossible. Why can my trick be cracked so easily? Leibo was sluggish. He couldn't accept this fact. Yanqing was too powerful, which made him extremely terrified. Nothing is impossible. Compared to me, your anger is too weak. Next is the second punch. When Leibo heard this, Yanqing had already punched Leibo on the chin. Boom. Power burst. Leibo's face was distorted beyond human form. His chin was directly smashed. Leibo's mouth opened and closed, and he could only make RR sounds. He couldn't speak anymore. Janus saw that Leibo's face was completely out of human form, and his heart was like falling into an ice cellar. He felt that he had caused a lot of trouble. This Yanqing was extremely cruel and invincible. Could it be that Li Chang and the others were all? Janus couldn't imagine it anymore. He felt that his fear completely permeated his mind, making his whole body hairy. Janus observed Yanqing's movements and paid attention to the surrounding situation. He had to find a suitable time to leave here, otherwise if he continued like this, he would soon be like Leibo and would probably die. Are you trying to escape? Yanqing turned around and said to Janus. He vaguely perceived Janus's thoughts through his small universe. No, I didn't mean that. Janus forced a smile and stammered. Yanqing's words made him feel a chill on his back. Oh, that's good. Stay here honestly, otherwise, you know the consequences. Yanqing said slowly. His tone was very light, but the content made Janus feel the pressure like a mountain. Li Bei, now there is only one punch left. This punch is the last punch. Can you withstand it? If you can withstand it, I will let you go. Come, let me see how strong your will is. Li Bei was speechless and could only look at Yanqing, who was like a cat playing with a mouse, in fear. Hearing Yanqing's words, when he thought that he would die, Li Bei's heart burst out with a strong will to survive. I still have an infinitely bright future. I will become a superior person. I will stand at the top of the galaxy. I can't die. I won't die. Li Bei raised his momentum and burst out all his energy. Heaven and earth thunder domain. The sky suddenly became dark, and countless lightning and thunder intertwined in it, falling on him, forming a field of thunder around him, with lightning flashing and thunder roaring. Wisps of red divine thunder wandered in the domain. From time to time, a trace of divine thunder fell on the ground, dissolving a big hole and annihilating all the creatures in the land. Infinite murderous intent appeared in the domain. Yanqing looked at the domain and shook his head. It still didn't work. He said word by word, the third punch. Yanqing bent down and ejected instantly, like a big dragon wandering. His fist emitted a bright light, shining, making the whole world pale, and the wind and clouds changed. This was the strongest punch he had ever thrown, and it was never so powerful before. Sizzle. This punch broke through Li Bei's domain like a dead tree. Ordinary lightning could not hurt Yanqing, who was protected by the microcosm. Only when a wisp of divine thunder fell on Yanqing could it melt Yanqing's clothes and leave scars on Yanqing's body. But Yanqing didn't care. He still concentrated all his spirit on this punch, putting all his anger and all his sadness on this punch. Boom. Yanqing hit Li Bei's body, leaving a look of despair on Li Bei's face. He teased Leibo like this, not because he was pretending to be cool, but because he wanted Leibo to experience the despair of being hunted down and unable to fight against Yangtze, to let Leibo know Yangtze's pain, to let Leibo know that he was wrong and shouldn't have provoked the Yang family. Puff. Leibo's eyes suddenly widened, and blood and fragments of internal organs spit out of his mouth. He watched Yanqing's fist slowly break through his domain and then penetrate his body. Yanqing's punch shattered his internal organs, and his body had become an empty shell. Yanqing slowly pulled his hand out, and Leibo fell to the ground like garbage. He moved his mouth a few times, wanting to say something, but couldn't say it. He only moved for a moment, and then he stopped moving. All the colors in his eyes lost and turned gray. Too weak. Are you the same weak? If so, you'd better die. Yanqing turned his head and said to Janus. He said terrible words, but his face was very calm, like an iceberg that had not melted for thousands of years. No, I'm stronger than him. Janus was panicked. It was only then that he realized that he should fight Yanqing with Leibo so that he would have a chance to survive. But Yanqing frightened him. He was the heir of a merchant family, and he was always cautious and prudent. He didn't dare to be brave and radical. His previous caution had made him gain something, but this time he fell into an endless abyss and couldn't get up again. Then take my 3 punches. If you can survive, I will let you go. No. Janus' body trembled. His strength was not far from Libo. If he took Yanqing's 3 punches, he would only die painfully like Libo. Well, the 3rd update is completed as promised. Everyone give your votes to 12. 12 needs your support this week. Chapter 37. Golden Treasure House. Golden Treasure House. Janus felt the threat of death and used the forbidden secret technique right away. He spat out blood and waved his hands with difficulty. In front of him, all kinds of weapons appeared, shining with gold. Among these weapons, there were Heavenly Sword, Divine Spear, Immortal Axe, and Ancient Bell Holy Tower. The Golden Treasure House was the strongest move in the Golden Catalog. After using it, it could summon countless mysterious golden weapons, which could be used to reverse the flow of immortals. All kinds of powerful weapons cut through the sky, shook the earth, and attacked Yanqing together. Clang! A golden sword rushed in front of Yanqing and immediately stabbed down. The sword energy was 110ly and sharp. Freeze fist. Yanqing punched out, and there was freezing air flowing on his fist, freezing the golden sword into slag. Whoosh. Swish. A divine spear turned into a straight line, fast, accurate, and ruthless, and pierced Yanqing's chest. At the same time, a fairy axe chopped down, heavy as 1,000 pounds, trying to split Yanqing in half. Yanqing treated it calmly. His small universe spun rapidly, and the speed of the magic gun slowed down in his eyes. He grabbed the magic gun accurately with one hand, and swung his hand knife down. With a click, the magic gun broke and disappeared. Yanqing's right hand was wrapped in blue and white light, and he swung it quickly, punching at the speed of sound. Ice-like cracks appeared on the axe of the Immortal Axe, and it was also shattered. Yanqing, now there are 2 punches, and only 1 punch is left. You can't break my gold treasure house with this punch. Why don't we both give in? I will no longer participate in the Yi family's alliance and let me leave. Janus said. He watched Yanqing fight against the golden weapon, and found that it was not the one-sided situation he imagined, and he couldn't help but feel relieved. I said, as long as you can take my 3 punches, I will let you go. You must take this 3rd punch. As for this golden weapon, it's better to say that it's a key soldier gathered by you and energy than a weapon. It's very fragile. Yanqing glanced at the countless weapons in the sky and said, then I will take your 3rd punch. The golden treasure house is not just this level. Fusion explosion. Janus gritted his teeth and said, after he used the forbidden secret technique, his strength would fall from the transcendent realm to the 6th level of the innate realm. At this time, he could only take a gamble. As Janus's voice fell, countless golden weapons trembled and merged together to form 3 magical weapons. They were an ancient bell, a holy tower, and a heavenly sword. Dang. The ancient bell rang, and the space ripples vibrated, crushing all the nearby rocks and trees. The space was lifted up like a huge wave and hit Yanqing hard. Bang. The holy tower fell from the sky, shining with golden brilliance, sacred and powerful. The tower body was like a towering mountain pressing down on the top, making Yanqing feel great pressure. Whoosh. The heavenly sword was the least conspicuous, but the most terrifying. The blade flashed, and with a whoosh, it cut through the space. It was invisible and shadowless, and it was impossible to predict its next position. Yanqing took a deep breath. This golden treasure house was really powerful. If it was used to the extreme, it would definitely be successful in the reverse attack on the immortals. However, the power of the golden treasure house displayed by Janus could only be displayed in a small part, and Janus could not control it at all. My little universe, explode. Yanqing roared, and light appeared on his body. Today, his little universe burned to the extreme. In a short period of time, he broke into the middle level of the 6th sense and even reached the high level of the 6th sense. The vast sea of stars in the little universe rotated rapidly, and a white Pegasus spread its wings and rushed out from it. Immediately afterwards, a clear white bird flew out gracefully. What is this? Is it a secret technique? Janus widened his eyes and stared at the almost substantial Pegasus and white bird that appeared on Yanqing's body. The Pegasus maiden crashed into the divine tower that was about to fall. The white bird flapped its wings, sprayed cold air, and sprinkled ice crystals, freezing the resounding ancient bell. Boom. There was a violent collision on both sides. The ancient bell and divine tower were shattered. The Pegasus and the white bird disappeared, and the huge energy burst out. The space was unstable and distorted by the impact. The mountains and rivers on the ground were shattered and turned into powder. Janus' throat slid a few times. Yanqing was too terrible. He only used a secret technique to destroy 2/3 of his gold treasure house. However, as long as Shindao was there, Yanqing's third punch could not hit him. Third punch. Yanqing snorted. He saw through Janus's thoughts. Although he didn't feel where Shindao was, it didn't matter. Under the range attack of Aurora lightning shock, everything would be frozen. Yanqing clenched his hands, stretched them out, and placed them on his chest. The accumulated frost burst out with a bang, and the fierce wind rolled up ice crystals, covering everything on the ground. Aurora lightning shock. The frost tornado roared fiercely. Before Shindao could launch a strike, it showed its trace in the air and was directly frozen. After Janus launched the secret technique, his strength had dropped to the 6th level of innate, unable to resist this cold and ruthless destructive frost. Janus trembled. His body was covered with countless ice crystals. His blood flow began to slow down. His body became stiff and cold. He was already broken inside. He knew he would die soon. In this short moment of waiting for death, he felt endless despair. No, no, kill, I surrender, save. Janus' lips trembled. He was so cold that he couldn't speak. He just looked at Yanqing with hope, hoping that Yanqing would let him go. I don't need your surrender. Yangtze believed in you so much, but you betrayed Yangtze. I will not let you go. I will let you experience the despair that Yangtze experienced. Yanqing was unmoved. His hands still blew out cold air and continued to freeze Janus. You, cruel, die. Janus' lips moved, and after saying the last sentence, they finally closed. He was sealed in a huge block of ice, with a look of fear and despair on his face. Hoo. Yanqing panted heavily, running for hundreds of miles, and killing 2 geniuses in the transcendent realm. He was too tired. There were many bloodstains on his body and his strength was completely exhausted. However, he felt that it was worth it. Although he had only known Yangtze for a few days, he had already regarded Yangtze as a friend in his heart. They worked together to save the family. In the battle, they did not hesitate to sacrifice their young lives, and always put everything of the family in the most important position. The death of a person like Yangtze made Yanqing feel extremely angry. He should not die like this, should not be hunted down, should not experience despair, flee all the way, and finally die. Yanqing sat down with his back against the ice that froze Janus. He looked at the mess of battle marks, the collapsed waterfall, the broken rocks, and the dried up river, and slowly closed his eyes. He was very tired. Everything was over. The crisis was resolved. He wanted to have a good rest, want to rest for a while, and then set off again and move forward. Chapter 38 Another kind of battle. It was very quiet here. When Janus and Libo destroyed this area, all creatures were either destroyed along with this area, or had to flee. The wind from afar sailed into this dead land, bringing with it seeds of plants full of vitality. In the dark clouds, brought by Libo overhead, water vapor condensed, and drops of rain fell, wetting the ground, melting the ice, and the air became fresh. Some animals turned back again, and returned to their habitats. Soon, green grass, tall trees, and many creatures will grow here again. In the future, it will become a jungle full of vitality. Fengling's face was pale. She finally arrived. After sensing Yangtze's breath, Yanqing was very anxious, so she asked Yanqing to go first on the way, to protect Yangtze first, while she chased after him. But she fell to the 6th level of the innate realm, and her speed dropped significantly, which was far less than Yanqing, who was running at a speed close to the speed of sound. More than half an hour later, Fengling arrived here. Looking at this completely destroyed dead land, looking at Yanqing, who was leaning against a huge human-shaped ice block with his eyes closed, the clever Fengling immediately figured out the whole story and understood it. Yangtze was probably dead, and Janus and Libo were probably killed by the extremely angry Yanqing. You must be very sad and lost. Fengling murmured in her heart. Looking at Yanqing like this, she felt inexplicably distressed. Fengling was about to take a few steps over, but suddenly stopped. She found that Yanqing's breath was even and long, and his chest rose and fell. She raised the corners of her mouth and smiled. It turned out that he was asleep, and he was sleeping soundly. Probably because he was too tired, his body was completely relaxed, and he didn't even notice her approaching. Fengling had a gentle look on her face, and she walked over quietly with light steps. She knelt down, slowly moved Yanqing from the ice block to her legs, took off her coat, and gently covered Yanqing's body. A whirlwind appeared in her hand, forming a suction force, sucking the rain into it, creating a rainless place for the two of them to rest. Yanqing, who was sleeping soundly, moved his body slightly, as if he felt uncomfortable, so he put his face close to Fengling's lower abdomen, and found a suitable position. Fengling's cheeks flushed, and she secretly spit. This guy really knows how to find a place. It was the first time that a man touched this place, and her body was a little weak. Although this feeling made her a little embarrassed, she liked it very much. The two of them snuggled together for a long time. Even in this extremely harsh environment, people could feel extremely beautiful. The rain was falling, and a small puddle accumulated on one side of the riverbank. After the puddle was full, some of the water flowed into a collapsed cave, and ripped on the face of the unconscious Yangze. Drop by drop, the coolness bloomed on Yangze's face, which slightly reduced the heat caused by Yangze's high fever. Yangze's eyelids trembled, slowly opened, and woke up. My body feels so heavy. Where am I? Yangze coughed violently. His fever was so severe that he had pneumonia. Many heavy stones and clods of earth pressed on his body, making his chest feel stuffy. There is no more ore outside. Have Li Bo and Janus left? Yangze used the Yang family's mental method to generate a little internal force in his body, detecting the movements of the outside world. After confirming that Li Bo and Janus had left, Yangze relaxed a little. Hiss. Yangze was about to move, but he immediately took a breath of cold air. He was about to raise his right arm, but found that his right arm had been shattered, and could not move. He raised other parts of his body, and found that his body was seriously injured. One arm and one leg were broken, and several ribs on his chest were also broken. Yangze slowly moved his body, carefully moving with the remaining leg and one arm. His body was very fragile at this time, and it was difficult for him to stand up, not to mention that there were many stones on his body. He looked at his exhausted body and smiled bitterly. I'm so lucky that I can wake up. However, it's really hard to move with this body. Yangze reached out and pushed away some dirt on his chest. His breathing became smoother. He continued to move the dirt and stones. He was very tired and mentally exhausted, but he didn't dare to rest. He was afraid that once he rested, he would never wake up again. He could only rely on his tenacious will to survive, force his body to move slowly. He wanted to live. He shouldered the hope of revitalizing the family, and took over the family's battle flag. He must not die. Since he had woken up, he could not put all his hopes on Yanqing. He also had to share some of the pressure, and had to move forward. Crash, crash. Except for the two largest stones that he couldn't move, Yangze finally cleared the sand and stones on his body. His chest rose and fell violently, and he gasped heavily. At this point, his physical strength had been exhausted. There are two more. Yangze stared at the two heaviest stones and said. The two stones were large and heavy. One pressed on his left leg and the other pressed on his right arm, firmly fixing him here. Yangze stretched out his intact left hand tremblingly, and pushed the stone on his right arm hard. However, the stone only moved, and did not move away, still pressing on his right arm. Yangze continued to push for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. His face was distorted with pain. Every time he pushed the stone, he could feel the pain from his right arm being crushed. No, if this goes on, I can't push it open at all. I will still die here. It seems that I can only use collision. Yangze stretched out his hand without any hesitation. His left hand was weak, and he couldn't make a fist, so he could only throw it out. Yangze swung his left hand hard at the stone and hit it. Bang! Yangze's face was distorted even more, and his facial features were squeezed together. In the collision just now, his left hand was almost broken, but it was still quite effective. The stone shook violently and became unstable. Yang Ze's eyes were full of joy. This method really worked. Bang, bang, bang. His left hand hit the stone hard. His flesh and blood were blurred. Yang Ze still did not hesitate and swung it again and again. Crack. His left hand was broken, but Yang Ze's hand was numb. Even if his left hand was broken, he would not feel it. Boom. The stone was finally moved away under Yang Ze's self-mutilation efforts. Yang Ze smiled excitedly. His efforts finally paid off. Although the price was that he broke another hand, the remaining stone was easy to deal with. Yang Ze stood up. Although both hands were difficult to use, his body could be used. He used his body to hit it. Bang. With a dull sound, Yang Ze was bounced to the ground. His internal organs seemed to be displaced and spasmed violently. His head accidentally hit the stone and blood flowed, but Yang Ze smiled. The last stone was also moved away. He was free. Yang Ze leaned against the side of the cave, slowly stood up, and staggered out of the cave. Now he had to find a suitable place to repair his injuries. When Yang Ze walked out of the cave, he was shocked by everything in front of him. This place had completely turned into a dead place, with no grass growing, and traces of fighting everywhere. What on earth is going on? Was it destroyed by Janus and Rappo? This place is not suitable for repairing the body. I have to walk a little further. Yang Ze murmured. He staggered forward and walked very slowly. The rain kept pouring on his body. His high fever worsened. He was very dizzy and his head was heavy. He had no clarity. When Yang Ze walked to a place full of broken ice, he finally couldn't hold on and fell down. At this time, the confused Yang Ze heard two words. It was a female voice with surprise in it. Yang Ze. Chapter 39. Everything returns to normal. Yang Ze. Where is he? Yanqing suddenly woke up. He seemed to have heard Yang Ze's name in his dream. He opened his eyes and sat up quickly. It's right there. Fengling pointed to where Yang Ze was. She rubbed her numb legs and stood up. Yanqing looked in the direction of her finger and saw a bloody man who had lost consciousness lying on the ground. It was Yang Ze. This guy is still alive. Yanqing's lips moved and his eyes sparkled. At the moment, when Yang Ze's breath disappeared, Yanqing thought he was dead, but he didn't expect Yang Ze to suddenly appear. This was really a huge surprise. He moved over instantly to check Yang Ze's physical condition and sent his microcosm to Yang Ze. The healing effect of the microcosm is extraordinary. Saint CR can regenerate limbs that have been decomposed at the atomic level through the microcosm and can also send his microcosm to heal others. Fortunately, although it is very serious, it can be saved. Yanqing breathed a sigh of relief. The microcosm energy sent into Yang Ze's body kept wandering, slowly dispersing in the damaged parts of the body, repairing Yang Ze's injuries. The pure energy made cells regenerate quickly, the hematopoiesis accelerated, the bones proliferated, the high fever slowly subsided, the pneumonia was eliminated, and soon Yang Ze's injuries were completely healed. His breathing began to become stable, and his complexion returned to normal. Yanqing wiped his sweat. This was the first time he used his small universe to treat others. The effect was very good, but after curing Yang Ze's injuries, his own small universe was almost completely exhausted. Is it necessary to go to such lengths? You are even better to Yang Ze than I am. Do you know that my legs are numb just now? Fengling came over and rolled his eyes at Yanqing in annoyance. Yang Ze is seriously injured, so of course he should be treated first. Yanqing smiled. He listened to Fengling's words and suddenly remembered. Oh, by the way, you said your legs are numb. Did I just rest my head on your legs? No wonder it feels so comfortable, but it's strange. Wasn't I leaning on the ice? Yanqing touched the back of his head, a little confused. That's because you're so naughty. Even after falling asleep, you can move to a girl's body without any consciousness. I saw you were so pitiful that I didn't dare to push you away. You thought I put you on my legs. Don't joke. Fengling blushed and snorted. Your reason doesn't make sense. I sleep very soundly and won't move. How can I run to your legs? Yanqing was speechless. You're so long-winded. You leaned on my legs for so long and took advantage of me. What else can you argue? You should kneel down and thank me. Fengling's face turned redder and she said with all her might. Well, that's true. Fengling, thank you. Yanqing smiled awkwardly. He also knew in his heart that it was indeed Feng Ling who did it, but Feng Ling didn't admit it. Huh, that's more like it. Feng Ling pretended to be angry, and a hint of imperceptible joy flashed in his eyes. Yanqing picked up Yang Ze and came to the rainless place created by Feng Ling and put him down. Yang Ze's body was still a little weak. If he got caught in the rain again, he would probably have a high fever again. Yanqing found a place to sit down, waiting for Yang Ze to wake up. He was absorbed in thinking about what happened in the past 2 days, and he felt a little emotional. Ai Zhang, Yufei, Yi Zhang, Janus, Leibo, they are all dead. The battle between the families was really fierce. Yanqing murmured. Family wars have always been like this. The resources in the starfield are limited. All families are trapped in their own starfield. It is difficult for them to set foot in other starfields. Therefore, their vision is narrow and their goal is only to defeat the hostile families in this starfield and rise up. Yi Chang wants to make the Yi family the strongest family in the starfield through such a plan. Feng Ling sat beside Yanqing, brushed the soft long hair by her ears, and smiled. Because of this reason, the owner of Fu decided to integrate all family forces and obtain resources from other starfields to end the vicious cycle of this starfield. Fu, this behemoth that has been watching us and controlling the entire starfield, is its purpose just so noble, and regardless of the cost? Yanqing frowned. He never understood Fu's behavior. Who knows, big people have big people's ideas. Their thoughts are not what we can think through. Unless one day we can stand at the same height as them, maybe we can appreciate the scenery that belongs only to the dragon. Feng Ling murmured. But it doesn't matter. It's too far away from us. After the crisis is resolved, we will be able to enter Fu soon. Solving the family crisis first is what we have to do, isn't it? Feng Ling turned her head and smiled. Well, family affairs are the most important thing. Yanqing nodded. Although it was only 2 days, the battles in these 2 days were too intense. He faced the threat of death many times. If it weren't for his extremely strong willpower and a little luck, maybe his body wouldn't even be where it is now. Yanqing and Feng Ling sat silently, as if they could sit forever. There was a kind of silent tacit understanding flowing between the two people, brewing some kind of emotion. Yanqing was very quiet. He liked this feeling. There was warmth in the plainness. Looking at Feng Ling with long hair and a peaceful expression, he was a little surprised and smiled. Feng Ling's appearance has always been changeable. Yanqing never knew which one was her true face, but at this moment, he seemed to see the real Feng Ling, the happy Feng Ling. After a night, Yang Ze woke up. As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw the faces of Yanqing and Feng Ling, which scared him. After Yanqing explained the whole story, Yang Ze finally understood why Yanqing and Feng Ling appeared here. When he heard that Yanqing could kill 4 geniuses in the transcendent realm, Yang Ze was very shocked. He looked at Yanqing and felt that compared with before, his aura was deeper and more distant, and there was a faint smell of blood. Yanqing, you have improved so much. I really didn't expect it. Compared with you, I'm far behind. You are the heir of my Yang family. Yang Ze sighed. He felt frustrated and lost in his heart, but he was not jealous. Yanqing's strength was a blessing for the family. What nonsense are you talking about? If you hadn't discovered the abnormality of Li Bei and Janus in time, all of us would have been wiped out, and we would not be able to break Yi Zhang's plan at all. Yanqing said very seriously. Hey, you two are so hypocritical. There's no point in talking so much nonsense between two grown men. Why don't you just get married? Feng Ling said unceremoniously. For some reason, when she watched Yanqing and Yang Ze talking, she felt as if she was watching a couple looking at each other affectionately, which made her jealous. No. In this era, it is normal for same-sex couples to get married. When Feng Ling thought of this, she immediately became alert to Yang Ze and put him in the position of a love rival. She was still happy about Yang Ze's return. Now she thought that this was the biggest mistake. If she had known earlier, she would have kicked him away. You think too much, Yanqing and Yang Ze said in unison. Feng Ling's words were too fierce and her imagination was too big. Their sexual orientation was normal. How could they get married? Yang Ze, wait until you have rested, and we will set off. There is still a long way to go. I'm fine. Let's go now. Entering Fu is the most important thing. Yang Ze patted his chest to indicate that he was fine. Hey, Yangze, don't hold on, you're badly injured, Yanqing said anxiously. He cared about Yangze, but he didn't mean anything else. However, this scene really made Feng Ling unhappy. Stop talking nonsense. If he wants to leave, let him go. Yanqing, why are you blocking him? Let's get going too. Well, okay. Welcome all book friends to read. The latest, fastest, and hottest serialized works are all here. Chapter 40, Survival in the Wild, End. Without the obstruction of Yi Chang and others, Yanqing, Feng Ling, and Yangze had a smooth journey. In 1 month, they climbed over the continuous snow-capped mountains, crossed the dangerous jungle, and entered the last area, the grassland. Wild beasts were rampant on the grassland. There were green snakes spitting out their tongues in the grass, and their venom could kill people instantly. There were black elephants rampant, with a pair of hard elephant legs that could crush boulders. There were eagles flying low, with their claws flashing cold light, which could crush people's heads. In addition, there were white wolves walking in groups on the grassland, fierce and domineering sword tigers, and dragons that could swim for 9 days and knock down mountains with one tail. They were extremely dangerous. Yanqing relied on the perception ability of the sixth sense of the microcosm to take a detour in time when approaching the dangerous area, and did not dare to step into the territory of some grassland overlords. The three of them traveled on the grassland for 7 days and finally reached the destination set by Fu. After arriving at the destination, the big stone in Yangze and Yanqing's hearts finally fell to the ground, and the pressure suddenly decreased. They completed the family's task excellently, and the family was recognized by Fu. The two of them had smiles on their faces, and were in a good mood. Even the hot wind on the grassland felt cooler, and the white clouds above their heads became very cute. Although Yanqing and his team were delayed for a few days at the beginning, they were very fast and the road was safe, so they arrived quite early and ranked 4th. The top 3 were Feng Wang, Sita Kang, and Fang Wu, 3 geniuses in the transcendent realm. Among them, Feng Wang and Sita Kang led the team, while Fang Wu arrived here alone. Yanqing walked to the rest area of Fu and saw Fang Wu and others. He greeted them in a friendly manner, and the other party responded one after another. Both parties communicated with each other in a friendly manner. After all, they would be classmates living together in Fu in the future, and would have to take care of each other. Fang Wu looked at the intact Yanqing in shock, and the cup of tea in his hand fell directly to the ground, attracting the attention of many people. Fang Wu was extremely powerful, and had always been indifferent. There were few things that changed his facial expression. I didn't expect that someone could change Fang Wu's expression now. Who is this person that Fang Wu cares about? I don't know. He doesn't seem to be famous. Many people looked at Yanqing, whispering and guessing Yanqing's identity. At this time, someone saw the wind bell beside Yanqing and suddenly thought of it and suddenly said, "Are they with the wind bell? Isn't this the Yang family who declared war on the Yi family? It seems that they are really from the Yang family, but why didn't the Yi family show up? Didn't Yi Zhang invite Fang Wu, Ai Zhang, and Yu Fei to fight together? How come they didn't come back, except Fang Wu who withdrew halfway? Could it be?" The person who spoke analyzed and thought of a possibility, and his face turned pale. No, did Yi Zhang and his team all lose, or even? One person guessed, but this caused many people to object. How is it possible? Even if Fang Wu withdrew halfway, Yi Zhang and his team still have 3 people. 3 transcendent realm against 1 transcendent realm and 2 innate realm. How can they not lose? Another person refuted that it was simply impossible for Yanqing and his team to defeat Yi Zhang and his team. Fang Wu took a step forward and walked towards Yanqing. Feng Ling's face changed and she stood in front of Yanqing. That day, she had to flee in front of Fang Wu and failed to save Yanqing. She felt deeply ashamed. Now Fang Wu was going to attack Yanqing again. She couldn't stand it. Her whole body was tense and ready to fight Fang Wu at any time. But before Feng Ling could attack, Yanqing climbed up her shoulder with one hand and stopped her. Yanqing shook his head and said to her, "It's okay. Fang Wu won't attack." Yanqing also stepped forward and faced Fang Wu. The atmosphere was a little solemn for a while. People around held their breath and looked at the two people, curious about what would happen next. Feng Guang and Sita Kang also paid close attention to the movements of Yanqing and Dong Fangwu. Dong Fangwu spoke first. He had too many confusions. He killed Yanqing with his own hands and threw him into the abyss with his own hands. How could he be resurrected? This was really incredible. Aren't you dead? I'm dead, but as you can see, I'm alive again. Yanqing said quietly. So that's how it is. This is a good thing. You are a good opponent. Dong Fangwu said seriously. He was very happy that Yanqing was alive. As for how Yanqing was alive, since Yanqing didn't say it, he didn't ask anymore. You two, I will find you to spar in Xianfu in the future, Yanqing said with a smile. The conversation between the two people was shocking. The tense scene they imagined did not appear. Instead, it was a harmonious scene. The two people talking were like good friends, not enemies. Dong Fangwu was about to turn around, but his figure suddenly stopped and asked, "Are Yi Chang and the others dead?" Dong Fangwu's question immediately attracted the attention of many people. They were all looking forward to Yanqing's answer. If it was the impossible possibility, it would cause an earthquake that affected the entire starfield. Yanqing thought about it. Sooner or later, this matter would be exposed. It made no difference whether it was said earlier or later. He looked at Yang Zhe and Feng Ling again. Yang Zhe nodded in agreement, while Feng Ling looked like they would share the responsibility and don't think about leaving her alone. Yanqing smiled slightly. Since you all agree, I will say it. Yes, they are all dead, killed by us. Yanqing's light words caused a great turmoil. It was extremely shocking. They are actually dead. This is impossible. Some people's first feeling was that they couldn't believe it. Yi Chang, Yu Fei, and Ai Zhang are all dead. The three families will definitely be furious. Someone murmured, "Oh, by the way, it's not three people, and Lei Bo and Janice were also killed by us." Feng Ling interrupted with a smile, and this sentence overturned the entire rest area again. What? There are two more geniuses in the transcendent realm. This is going to break the sky. The descendants of the 5 major families were all killed. This will definitely cause turmoil in the starfield. Although the people of the 5 families are furious, they will never dare to launch a large-scale family war. At most, they dare to trip them up secretly. The Feng and Yang families have been recognized by Xianfu and have been included in the protection of Xianfu. Many people looked at Yanqing and the other two with obviously different eyes. These are tough guys. No matter what they used to kill those 5 people, they are very powerful and are not objects to be provoked. Feng Guang frowned. He wanted to cooperate with Yi Chang to control this group of freshmen and build his own power. Now it seems that he can only let it go and find other partners. Sita Kang smiled. He was a genius from the outside world. He could not control the private affairs of the Centaur Star region, nor did he want to. He was very concerned about the killing of several geniuses. Among the 3 people, although Feng Ling had the highest realm, the 3 of them were led by the man carrying the bronze box. This man should be very strong. Yanqing looked at the crowd and smiled helplessly. He knew it would be like this. After all, 5 of the 10 geniuses in the transcendent realm were killed. Even Xianfu had to take it seriously. Although he had walked this 10,000-mile road and entered Xianfu, Yanqing had only taken the first step. The road ahead was still very long, and there would still be countless difficulties and hardships waiting for him. However, Yanqing looked at the sky with a firm look in his eyes. He said that he would inherit Uncle Yang's will, step into the starry sky and the sea, and leave his own traces. Life is meant to be challenging. Standing at the top of the galaxy is a good goal. I will work towards it. Chapter 41, Peaceful Times. After 3 months, the third outdoor survival finally ended. Of the 3,000 people who participated in the trial, only more than 1,300 people finally reached the end. The remaining more than 1,600 people either did not arrive in time or died on the way to the trial. The death rate of up to 56% made this outdoor survival a bloody field. In the last few days, Yanqing could see some family disciples kneeling and crying, some begging Xianfu, and some extreme people even killed themselves. These people came very late, and their scores were very low. Combining the scores of the 3 games, they could not enter the top 1,000 and become Xianfu students. They felt that they were not worthy of the family's earnest hopes and could not do their best for the family. They also took various remedial measures, but they were useless. The rules of Xianfu would not be changed because of a small number of people. Yanqing was very silent. If they did not pass, they would be as desperate as these people. However, fortunately, they passed and ranked very high. Survival of the fittest, that's how it works. If you want to integrate the forces in the starfield and complete the sublimation of the starfield, you have to go through a big cleansing, just like removing the rotten flesh from the wound of a sick person, so that the scar heals and the body becomes healthy. Xianfu unified and integrated the resources in the starfield, so that each family recognized by Xianfu could obtain more resources and grow stronger, so that the Centaur starfield could become stronger and have more say in the entire Galaxy Alliance. In the rest area, Yanqing could feel a pair of eyes staring at him while walking. He didn't need to guess, he knew who it belonged to. It was Yi from the Yi family. That S-level gifted person escaped because he didn't go with Yi Chang. In the rest area, fighting is not allowed, which makes Yanqing quite regretful. If Yi can't be solved, the Yi family will still grow and become a threat to the Yang family again, and he can only find an opportunity to kill him in the future. A rumbling sound came from the sky in the distance, and a star mothership slowly came and stopped above the rest area, casting a huge shadow. The freshmen were all staring at the Xianfu logo on the mothership. They were excited because they knew it was Xianfu's starship coming to take them back. Hey, rookies, we meet again. A man jumped down from the star mothership. This man was the Xianfu instructor who spoke before the wilderness survival trial, the wretched middle-aged man. The middle-aged man fell from 1,000 meters high, as if he was not affected by gravity. His falling speed remained unchanged. There was a cloud under his feet, and he landed lightly on the ground. If it weren't for his wretched face, that ruined his temperament, in the eyes of many people, this middle-aged man was like an immortal who rode the clouds in ancient legends. The middle-aged man took a quick glance, and counted the number of people. He said, there are still more than 1,300 people left. That's quite a lot. We have recorded the results. Now we will send you to the college city. The top 1,000 will be announced tomorrow. Everyone wait for tomorrow's news. The middle-aged man waved his hand and let the star mothership land. The mothership slowly descended. When it landed on the ground, everyone felt the ground shaking. The hatch of the mothership opened, and the trial participants walked in one by one. When Yanqing and the other two entered the hatch, Yanqing suddenly felt a huge mental power scanning his whole body. He looked back and looked for it, but couldn't find who did it, so he had to give up in the end. The middle-aged man smiled unchanged and said in his heart, this kid is not simple. He can actually sense my mental power, and his whole body has a power different from martial arts. It can't be accurately measured by martial arts realm. No wonder he can kill 5 transcendent realm with Fengling. He is indeed one of the most noteworthy people in this freshman class. Soon, the star mothership returned to the college city, and the children of each family returned to their respective families. What happened in the world was also known to all the major families. In particular, the news that Fengling, Yanqing, and Yangze killed 5 family heirs swept across the entire starfield overnight like a storm. Bang! Yi Qian, the head of the Yi family, slammed the table heavily, shaking the hard Bishan stone table into powder. What is going on? Even if Chonja's plan has problems, he won't die. The people of the other 4 families have also expressed dissatisfaction with us, blaming us for the death of their heirs. The hostile forces laugh at us, and the allies blame us. Our Yi family is now crossing the street, and everyone is shouting and beating us. Patriarch, calm down. Although young Master Yizong has fallen, young Master Yise has entered Xianfu now. Young Master Yise has an S-level talent, and will definitely be able to take up the responsibility of the Yi family in the future. Elder Yi Kangwei said. Brother, it's useless to get angry now. We must repair the alliance relationship and accumulate cultivation resources on Senna, so that Senna can become a talent as soon as possible and break through to the immortal realm, so as to solve the difficulties faced by my Yi family. Yi Qian's younger brother Yi Changlao said. I know about this matter, you don't have to worry about it. The meeting ends here, you all go down. Yi Qian's eyes flickered, and he looked at the family meeting gloomily. Chonja died, and these elders didn't care at all, but immediately put their interests on Yise. The family was full of intrigue and could not unite at all. Yi Chang was his son, and Yi Se was the son of his younger brother Yi Chang Lao. Because Yi Chang had always occupied the majority of resources, Yi Chang Lao usually had a lot of complaints about him and targeted him everywhere. Now that Yi Chang was dead, Yi Chang Lao's power immediately increased greatly. Although he didn't like Yi Chang Lao very much, it was necessary to tilt resources to Yi Se at present, because it was related to the crisis of the family. Yi Qian rubbed his temples. He was very tired. Chang's attempt to expand resources and resolve internal conflicts by targeting other families failed, which made him passive. Perhaps he will soon step down from the position of head of the family. On Tao and Star, the Yang family was shocked to learn that both of them had passed the Fu test. The Yang family once again held a banquet to entertain the guests. When Yang Su received the file, opened the video, and saw Yanqing and Yang Ze, he really felt moist in his heart. They really did what they said before they went, and they came back as soon as they went, fulfilling their promise. Head of the family, we have fulfilled our mission very well, Yang Ze said in the video, holding the battle flag. He was very proud and did not let down the battle flag. Uncle Yang, we are very powerful. After the first semester of Fu is over, we will go back. At that time, we can drink together again, Yanqing said with a smile. You did a great job. Yang Su smiled. His mood was brighter than ever before. Many elders had not seen the head of the family smile so sincerely for many years. The elders were very moved. Yanqing and Yang Ze were really outstanding. They were the rising stars of their Yang family and even the entire starfield. As for the 5 major families, you don't have to worry about it. They must be in a mess now, because their descendants have been lost. Except for the Yi family, Yi Se can enter Fu. The other families probably don't have many talented people. Now they not only dare not offend my Yang family, but will flatter them. Oh, by the way, Fengling and King are on good terms, so it is necessary to deepen the relationship between the 2 Feng families. Yang Su thought and quickly sorted out everything, showing his grasp of the overall situation as the head of the Yang family. At this time, Yanqing and Yang Ze were in the Feng family courtyard, drinking and chatting with many Feng family members. I saw Yi Zhang rushing towards me. I hit him with an uppercut and he vomited blood 3 meters away. Then I hit him with a cannon punch, and he immediately smashed the rock. I waited for him for a long time, wondering why he didn't move. I walked over and saw that he had his mouth open and his eyes wide open. It turned out that he had died. Listening to Yanqing's explanation of their battle with Yi Zhang, the people around him booed. Feng Chen said disdainfully, Yanqing, you are just bragging. If it weren't for our second lady, I guess you don't know where your body is? Feng Chen's words immediately attracted a lot of echoes. After the trial, after hearing about Fengling Yanqing's record, they admired Fengling even more, to the point of admiration that was almost fanatical. There was a child of the Feng family who asked for an autograph after seeing Fengling, but was kicked away by Fengling. However, the boy still looked very happy, which was simply a masochistic physique. Yanqing smiled and did not refute Feng Chen's point of view. The truth was too horrifying to tell. He did not need to spoil everyone's interest. Now was the last gathering. He had received the admission notice from Fu and would enter Fu to practice tomorrow. Yang Ze was also shouting loudly on the side. His face was drunk, and he showed a different attitude from usual, which made Yanqing laugh secretly. He used the camera function on the communicator to take a picture of Yang Ze. This was a rare thing and worth saving. When Yang Ze woke up, he would show it to him. It would definitely make Yang Ze's face black. Fengling, who was standing aside, had a face full of resentment. Looking at Yanqing's actions, she felt more and more that the relationship between Yanqing and Yang Ze was not normal. She finally liked someone. How could he be snatched away by a man like Yang Ze? As a woman, couldn't she compete with a man? No, Yanqing is mine. Whoever wants to take him away, I will kill him. Fengling turned black, staring at Yang Ze with murderous intent in her eyes. Yang Ze suddenly felt an inexplicable chill on his back and shivered. It seemed a bit cold. He would put on some clothes later. He didn't know that danger was lurking beside him, showing its ferocious fangs to him. A group of people were playing and fighting, and soon, this carnival day was over, and in the blink of an eye, Fu welcomed the day of school opening. Well, this chapter is very substantial, and a new story is about to begin. 12 is here to ask for recommendation votes. After 100,000 words, I will participate in the Dream Cup. Friends who have votes, please vote for the dream. 12 thanks you. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 40. To this room it is too charming. When Fu opened, 4,000 freshmen came to Fu with trepidation and excitement. It was unimaginable for many people to be able to enter this top-notch college. In this respect, Fu's enrollment gave many people the opportunity to receive the best education, which was conducive to the development of the Centaur Star region. Yanqing and Yangs came to the registration office with their admission letters and luggage. There was a gentle young man in the registration office who seemed to be an old student of Fu. He took the two people's letters and scanned them with a sophisticated scanner. After confirming that it was a real letter, he reached out and clicked on a map from the smart computer on the side, marked two addresses, and sent it to Yanqing and Yang's communicator. To juniors, this is the location of your dormitory, where you will live in the future. Fu is very big, and you are not familiar with Fu yet. You can use the navigation system to navigate. The young man looked at the two puzzled people and explained with a smile. I see, thank you senior. Yanqing and Yangs bowed to express their respect for the young man. Don't be so polite. We will meet again in Fu in the future. Just call me Muchin. The young man waved his hands repeatedly, very friendly. Yanqing and Yang said goodbye to Mu Chen and followed the navigation system to the dormitory. The two walked very fast, walking several hundred meters in 1 minute, but after dozens of minutes, Yanqing and Yang still did not reach the dormitory, but came to the outside of a small city. In this city, they saw buildings with carved beams and painted rafters, full of ancient style, and skyscrapers that reach the sky. This place is not big, but there are many people. From time to time, there are people flying in the air, there are colorful lights flashing, waves of pressure appearing, and there are sounds of fighting, which show that this place is different. The two walked to the gate and looked up to see two big characters on the door. These two big characters are iron painted and silver hooked, and the pen moves like a dragon and snake, with great force. There is a spirit wandering in it, which makes people who walk here seem to be enlightened and enlightened. Fu. Yanqing read out these two words, and he suddenly realized that this is the real Fu, and the place where they had conducted tests before was just the periphery of Fu. The real Fu is magnificent and has a sense of historical precipitation and heaviness. People can feel the long history of the culture here spiritually. There are many freshmen staying by the gate, staring at a stone tablet. The history of Fu is recorded on this stone tablet. Yanqing and Yangs walked over and read the contents on the stone tablet. In the 2900th year of the Xing calendar, the first palace owner, Huang Fusheng, came to planet 1301 and transformed it into a planet suitable for human habitation. He established Fu here, and the planet was renamed Fu Star. In the 3500th year of the Xing calendar, the second palace owner, Tu Guang, took over the position of Fu palace owner. He defeated the strongest person in the 6-star domain in 3 moves. His reputation shocked the galaxy. Many people came here to worship under the second palace owner. Fu prospered and produced many talents. In the 4600th year of the Xing calendar, the third palace owner, Wen Rinchu, fought hard on the front line of the war. He fought bloody battles to solve the crisis of human extinction, killed hundreds of millions of Zerg, and killed 3 princes and a prince. In the end, he died of exhaustion, which was a moving poem. However, Fu was cut off from the throne and declined. After 5,000 years of Xing, the 4th palace master, Daking Gai, reformed the Fu system and recruited 1,000 students. A new situation for Fu is about to begin. Looking at the contents recorded on the stone tablet, Yanqing and Yangs were very excited. Although Fu only had 4 generations of palace masters, each generation of Fu was an absolute hero, especially the 3rd generation of palace masters, who could kill the Zerg prince. You must know that every Zerg prince is an emperor. The 3rd palace master, Win Renchu, can be said to be one of the strongest people standing at the top of Xing. The 4th palace master, Yanqing, is the current palace master. He shoulders the heavy responsibility of revitalizing Fu. The recruitment of these 1,000 students is his work. He is also a man of great talent and strategy. After entering the city and finding the dormitory building, Yanqing and Yang separated. The dormitory was arranged according to the ranking of the freshmen. The ranking of Yangs and Yanqing was very different, so they were not in the same place. Entering the dormitory, Yanqing sorted out all his things, laid out the quilt and other things, and put the bronze vestment box on his back into the cabinet. These dormitories were built specifically for freshmen. In the past, Fu only recruited 10 students each year, and each student built a hut in the woods to live in, instead of the current dormitory. This dormitory is not small, with an area of 60 square meters and 2 people living in it. Yanqing is looking forward to the appearance of his roommate who will live with him for a few years. Soon, footsteps were heard outside the door, and they were getting closer and closer. The electronic fingerprint recognition device on the black iron door made a ding sound, which meant that the recognition was successful, indicating the arrival of Yanqing's roommate. The door creaked open, and a person walked in slowly. Yanqing looked at this roommate, his eyes slowly widened, and a look of surprise appeared on his face. Yanqing's first feeling about his roommate was that she was beautiful, very beautiful, and could not be described as handsome, with bright eyes and white teeth, black hair like a waterfall, and a look of beauty. This person is a woman. How could it be a man? Yanqing felt that he was about to be moved. But looking at the Adam's apple on his roommate's throat, Yanqing knew that this roommate was really a man, not a woman. After this beautiful roommate came in, she saw Yanqing and smiled. "Hello, I'm Luozi." His voice was crisp and clear, like the sound of pearls falling on a jade plate. Very beautiful. It seems that there is a kind of magic that can make people unconsciously addicted. Even after Yanqing reached the 6th sense and had a strong mental strength, he was still a little intoxicated. Yanqing was sure that this was definitely not the influence of the practice on him, but Luozi himself had a mysterious temperament that made people irresistible. This involved the law, the realm of immortals, and even saints. "Hello, I'm Yanqing." Yanqing was very surprised. His name was very familiar. Wasn't this the only one among the 10 geniuses in the transcendent realm who had never appeared in front of him? He didn't expect that he would be in the same dormitory with him. In the information Yang Ze collected in the past, Luozi was a genius from the outside world, very low-key. When she first came to Fu Star, she was bullied by a noble family because of her outstanding beauty. When Luozi was angry, she showed her cultivation in the transcendent realm and severely injured the noble family, which attracted the attention of various families. When fighting against Yizang, Yang Ze also considered trying to win over Luozi, but he gave up. Luozi's beauty was the focus of everyone, which was not conducive to their hiding. "You are Yanqing, I have heard of you. Your record is very impressive." Luozi had a surprised smile on his face and seemed to admire Yanqing very much. Luozi's smile was extremely gentle, which made people feel very comfortable. No, you are very impressive," Yanqing said embarrassedly. He thought Luozi was pretty good, but too feminine, which made him feel moved. This made Yanqing worried. He was afraid that if he stayed with Luozi for a long time, he would not be able to distinguish between men and women, and even change from a straight man to a gay man. This roommate is too charming. Even Fengling, who is recognized as a goddess, pales in comparison with Luozi, who smiles sweetly. If it is not handled properly, it will be bad if she becomes gay all of a sudden. It seems that I must be more careful in the future, Yanqing thought with a headache. Chapter 43, A Woman Disguised as a Man. Please recommend. Yanqing and Luoxi had a very good chat. During the chat, Yanqing learned about many foreign customs that were different from the Centaur Star region, and also learned that Luoxi came from the distant Andromeda Star region. Fu enjoys a great reputation in various star regions, especially the Andromeda star region, which was once the first front line of the battle between humans and Zerg. The legend of the human emperor Wenrinchu has been widely circulated in our hometown. I have longed for Fu since I was a child. Now I'm very happy to be able to enter Fu. Luoxi smiled brightly. Human Emperor Wenrinchu? Luoxi, can you tell me about that era? Yanqing's heart moved. After he saw the deeds of the third palace master from the stone tablet, he was very interested in Wenrinchu. That era should have been the most powerful era of Fu. Wenrinchu was even the human emperor and dominated the galaxy. Such a great figure actually died in the Andromeda star region, causing the decline of Fu, which is really lamentable. Luoz's eyes flashed with reminiscence, and he said proudly, in that era, humans encountered the most terrifying race in the universe, the Zerg. Not only did they have amazing reproductive capacity, but their strength also grew rapidly. In the distant past, they had forced the Protoss and the Elder into a dead end. In terms of our human realm, the Zerg has 13 human emperors, more than 700 saints, tens of thousands of immortals, and countless masters of the transcendent realm. Humanity was on the brink of destruction at the time, and countless humans died at the hands of the Zerg army. Yanqing nodded. He also knew this great history. In the 4631st year of the galaxy calendar, the Zerg invaded on a large scale. The human race rose up to resist, but was still defeated. Countless martyrs sacrificed their lives and shed their blood. More than billions of people died together with the Zerg. At this critical moment, the three human emperors, Wenrinchu, Shishan, and Emozuan, joined forces with the God Emperor of the Protoss and the Great Elder of the Spirit Clan to form an alliance of three races, to resist the Zerg's attack. In the face of a huge disparity in strength, Wenrinchu formulated a plan, and obtained everyone's consent. Is it the action to assassinate the Zerg Queen? Yanqing said in surprise. He had read in history books that the strongest of the three tribes organized an assassination against the Zerg Queen, and it was this assassination that saved the fate of the human race and won the victory. But Yanqing didn't know that this plan was actually proposed by Wenrinchu, the Lord of Fu. Well, that's the plan. Among the three emperors, Wenrinchu may not be the strongest, but he is the wisest. He is a scholar of heaven and man. At the cost of overdrawing his life, he used the secret technique of peeping into the sky to find a route with weak defense of the Zerg, laying a solid foundation for the assassination. In the last moments of his life, in order to attract the attention of the Zerg and ensure that the assassination operation would not be discovered, Wenrinchu went to the Zerg central base in person and fought a fierce battle with 11 Zerg princes. After killing a prince, his vitality was exhausted, and he died of exhaustion. Luozi slowly told this history. His speech was slow, but the content made Yanqing's blood boil, as if he had returned to that era of war, blood, and tears. In fact, my Luo family is the descendant of Wenrinchu's disciples. When the ancestor died, he looked at Fu from afar and left a family precept. As long as someone can meet the admission requirements of Fu, no matter how far the Andromeda starfield is from the Centaurus starfield, the family disciples must go to Fu to practice. Luozi revealed a secret, which made Yanqing stunned. I can't believe your family has such a history. But, Luoxi, is it really okay for you to tell me this? There won't be any problem. Yanqing asked nervously. He felt that his relationship with Luoxi was progressing very quickly. Nothing, even if I don't tell you, you will know it later. One of the purposes of my coming to Fu is to make friends, and it doesn't matter if I tell you. Luoxi took out a box from her luggage and handed it to Yanqing. Here, this is a specialty of my hometown, Lingmei Star in the Andromeda region. It is a well-known tea called Longjing tea. Yanqing, you can taste it. Oh, this. Thank you so much. Luoxi was so enthusiastic that he was a little flattered. You're welcome. You can't be so polite, Luoxi said very generously. Yanqing stretched out his hand, and just as he was about to take the box from Luoxi's hand, he accidentally touched Luoxi's fingers. This was just a trivial matter for a man, but Luoxi exclaimed, and immediately retracted her hand. Two blushes floated on her face, which was very beautiful, and made people's heart beat. Hey, this is too foul. This is completely the subconscious performance of a pure girl. Yanqing's heart suddenly shrank hard. Luoxi looked so attractive. Luoxi also seemed to realize that this was not right. Facing Yanqing's suspicious eyes, his heart tightened. He couldn't help but coughed and pretended to be calm and said, "Yanqing, I have something else to do, so I'll leave first." Luoxi left the dormitory in a hurry without waiting for Yanqing to speak. No matter how you look at it, it seems that she is trying to cover up something. Yanqing showed a strange look. Could it be that Luoxi is really a woman? Judging from Luoxi's reaction, she does look like one. Although there is an Adam's apple, there are many exercises that can change the shape, and this male feature does not mean anything. If you think about it this way, his roommate Luoxi is really likely to be a woman dressed as a man. Yanqing had a strong urge to complain. No, this kind of plot in the novel can also be encountered by me. Am I going to start a vigorous love story with Luoxi, like Liang Shanbo and Zhu Yingtai? What a joke. Yanqing shook his head vigorously and threw the idea out of his mind. He still pretended not to know, leaving a little dignity for his roommate, which would also be less embarrassing. Yanqing opened Luoxi's box, and there was brown tea inside. Yanqing smelled it. Although it was different from the Longjing tea in his memory, it was more fragrant and had a refreshing taste. Good tea. Yanqing brewed a cup and drank a sip beautifully, with a face full of enjoyment. The taste of this tea was really authentic, quiet and elegant, mellow and distant, light but flavorful, and it was indeed a good tea. While Yanqing was enjoying the tea, Luoxi ran out of the dormitory and stood in a remote corner, covering her face. She felt that she was really a failure. Someone actually touched her hand, and she almost exposed her female identity. I'm such a fool. Luoxi patted her cheek. She regretted it very much. If she had known earlier, she would not have used the male identity on a whim. This was really too troublesome. But since she chose this path, she could only go on. She had to work harder next. She must not be discovered by Yanqing. Luoxi adjusted her clothes, drew a water mirror, took a look, and found that there was no problem. She nodded with satisfaction, and walked towards the dormitory again. Chapter 44, The Prologue of Xianfu Inheritance. Sorry, I was in a hurry just now, so I went to the bathroom. I feel much better now. Luoxi's face was a little red. Such an excuse made her very shy. Alas, what a poor excuse this is. Yanqing's eyebrows twitched, and he almost laughed. His roommate seemed to be very inexperienced. It was really interesting to see Luoxi's cover-up. In order to avoid Luoxi's embarrassment, he had to cooperate. I see. Why are you so anxious? I thought your girlfriend was urging you. Yanqing said seriously. Ah, girlfriend? No. I just came to Xianfu not long ago. I don't have one yet. Not yet. Cough cough. Luoxi was half a beat slower. His head turned, remembered the meaning of girlfriend, reacted, and said in a panic. No, Luoxi, you are so handsome. I thought you were surrounded by beauties and had a group of girlfriends. Yanqing continued. He thought it was interesting and wanted to tease Luoxi. Of course not. Now I focus on cultivation, and I will talk about love later. Luoxi calmed down and said carefully. That's true, brother Luoxi. You are indeed a role model for practitioners of our generation. Yanqing gave a thumbs up and praised. Haha, no. Luoxi laughed, feeling proud. Yanqing really mistook her for a man. But Luoxi didn't know that she had actually been seen through by Yanqing a long time ago. Now it was useless to disguise herself. Yanqing just pretended not to know and cooperated with her. By the way, Luoxi, as a disciple of Xianfu, you should know how the students in Xianfu practice? Yanqing asked. The inside of Xianfu has never been known to the public, and their family can't get any information. Maybe Luoxi can know. After entering Xianfu, you have to find a heritage that suits you first, and then practice under the guidance of a mentor. Everyone has their own practice plan, which is different from others. Luoxi was obviously very familiar with the situation in Xianfu, and said to Yanqing, we are recruiting so many people this year. I wonder if Xianfu can handle it? No problem. Xianfu's instructors are very powerful. They are all in the Saint realm. They can work out a training plan for students in a few breaths. Besides, instructors are lazy. They also need to practice. Therefore, after they lead students in, they will not care much about you. Students still need to practice and hone themselves. This is a very successful free-range policy of Shianfu. Luozi explained in detail. Is that so? What is the inheritance of Shianfu, and how to obtain it? Yanqing asked. He came to Shianfu to practice, in order to improve his strength. This is his purest purpose. He cares more about the inheritance that Luozi mentioned. Shianfu inheritance is the spiritual will body condensed by the Shianfu instructors of all generations after their death with special secret techniques. This inheritance contains all the martial arts insights of the instructor during his lifetime. Students who are recognized by the inheritance will take fewer teachers. Even if they cannot create their own path, they can at least reach the immortal transformation level, based on the insights of the instructor during his lifetime. Yanqing was shocked. There was such an inheritance. Shianfu's foundation was indeed strong. This is the biggest secret of Shianfu's long-term survival. Even though when Renchu died, Shianfu still did not fall. It was because of these powerful inheritances that Shianfu recovered in hundreds of years. As for how to inherit, you will know when the time comes. There is no need for me to explain. Soon there will be news to inform us to choose the inheritance. Luoxi blinked her eyes, which was so cute that it was killing people. Facing such Luoxi, although Yanqing was moved, he was no longer anxious about being turned into a gay man like before. After learning Luoxi's true gender, no matter how sexy Luoxi behaved, Yanqing could clearly know that this was a woman, not a man. As soon as Luoxi finished speaking, the communicator of the two people vibrated, and a message from Shianfu was displayed on the communicator. Look, it's here. Luoxi shook the communicator and smiled. Yanqing turned on the communicator, and the message notified them to go to the back mountain of Shianfu. The coordinates were 182,123. Yanqing and Luoxi followed the coordinates in the navigation to the back mountain of Shianfu. It was very ordinary here, with weeds growing in a mess. There were a lot of mosses on the huge rocks, indicating that few people had been here. The freshmen who came here were very disappointed. Is this a place of inheritance? It's too simple. Yanqing didn't think so. Under this ordinary mountain view, he could feel that there were many huge spirits that existed in the world and were sleeping. This should be the spiritual will body that Luoxi said. Once these spiritual will bodies wake up, there will be earth-shattering changes here. Yangs and Fengling also came over and surrounded Yanqing. Seeing Luoxi next to Yanqing, Yangs frowned, thought about it, and then remembered who this person was. Fengling looked jealous, looking at the person next to Yanqing. The raging fire in his eyes seemed to burn Luoxi to death. Let me introduce you. This is my roommate, Luozi, from the Andromeda Star region. Luozi, it's him. Yang Ze stretched out his hand and smiled. Hello, I'm Yanqing's friend, Yang Ze. Luozi looked at Yang Ze shyly, unwilling to stretch out his hand, showing an embarrassed expression. Yanqing smiled secretly, and he took Yang Ze's hand and helped Luozi out. Hey, Yang Ze, long time no see. Yanqing and Yang Ze immediately hugged each other. Yang Ze was very surprised. He had only been separated from Yanqing for half a day, so how could it be said that they hadn't seen each other for a long time? He only heard Yanqing whisper in his ear, "This Luozi is a woman." Yang Ze suddenly realized that it was no wonder that she didn't want to shake hands with him. It turned out to be a woman. I heard that women in the outer domain are very conservative and don't allow men to touch their bodies. I guess this is the case. Yang Ze nodded to show his understanding, showing a meaningful expression. Yanqing is really lucky. Fengling's expression next to him was very interesting at this time, and her face was almost about to collapse. If Yanqing saw this, he would also praise her good facial expression. Yanqing, is there really a problem with your sexual orientation? Why do you want to hold hands and hug Yang Ze as soon as you meet? And your roommate, as a man, is actually more beautiful than me. Are you really going to go further and further on that road of no return? In this case, let me wake you up. Just as Fengling was about to make a move, a terrifying pressure suddenly came from the sky above the back mountain, making everyone unable to move. At the top of the mountain, 4 figures appeared, slowly solidifying from phantoms. Yanqing looked up and saw that the 4 people were a wretched middle-aged man, a girl as cold as an iceberg, a young man with a shining body, and an old man wearing an ancient Taoist robe. These are the 4 mentors of Xianfu. They are all saints, Luozi said with difficulty, and the shock in his eyes could not be hidden. Chapter 45. The 4 saints take action. The pressure released by the saints at will is so terrifying. Yanqing's knees were slightly bent, and it was difficult for him to stand up. The freshmen who were even worse off just lay on the ground, unable to raise their heads. The 4 saints of Xianfu, Mu Daoxing, the saint of mountains and rivers, Duan Muzuan, the saint of ice and frost, Yi Yang, the saint of bright sun, and Gu Chen, the saint of peeping into the sky, have never appeared in the public eye. They are the 4 strongest people in this star field except for the master of Xianfu. Even the geniuses who came out of Xianfu kept silent about their affairs, which were very mysterious. Fengling said word by word, and she felt a great pressure. There are not many saints in the entire galaxy, and now you can see 4 of them at once, which is really shocking. Every saint's gestures are filled with the power of the law. With just the flesh, they can cross the space and reach the speed of light. The full force of the saint can even blow up the planet. Is this the new students this year? Compared with previous years, the quality is too poor. What is the mansion master thinking? Compensating for quality with quantity is simply a joke, Duan Muzuan said with a cold face. She looked indifferent, like a huge iceberg, making it impossible for people to approach. Zuana, the mansion master, is looking at the distant future and making plans before taking action. His thoughts are not something we can guess. It's not good to criticize him without reason. Yi Yang said softly on the side. He is a saint of the bright sun, and his body is shining with the same light as the sun, like an ancient god. Haha, Duan Mu, you are wrong. There are many good seedlings in this batch of new students. There were originally 10 new students in the transcendent realm this year, but 5 of them died in the trial. This tragic degree is no worse than in previous years, Mu Daoxing said with a smile. As the instructor who presided over this entrance examination, he understood the potential of these new students the most, especially Fengling, Dong Fangwu, and Yanqing. They are even stronger than the geniuses in previous years. That makes sense, the old man Gu Chen said in a deep voice. His eyes swept through the crowd. When he saw Dong Fangwu, Fengling, and Luozi, his eyes flashed, and a smile appeared on his face. The secret art of peeping into the sky that he practiced was a supreme Taoist art that could see through the long river of fate and see the future. The 3 generations of the palace master Wen Rinchu relied on this secret art of peeping into the sky to dominate the world and become the emperor of man. The future of Dong Fangwu, Fengling, and Luozi is like the rising sun, blazing red, and they have the potential to become saints. Humph, I still stick to my point of view. Who is right and who is wrong will be clear in the future, Duan Muzuan said coldly. She is a conservative in Xianfu and has always opposed this reform. Let's not talk too much. Let's open the ancient land of inheritance right away. There are many new students this time. We must awaken all the inheritances, Mu Daoxing said. The other 3 saints nodded in agreement. Open, Mu Daoxing shouted, clasped his hands together, as if hugging a mountain. A mountain formed between his hands and smashed heavily towards the back mountain. Many students were so scared that they were trembling and pale. A huge mountain was pressing down on them. Was it going to smash them into a paste? Everyone felt the threat of death. Aren't we students of Xianfu? Why would the saint attack us? A student next to Yanqing murmured, his eyes full of despair. This is definitely not an attack on us, but to wake up the spiritual will bodies underground. Yanqing knew it in his heart, and he extended his mental power underground to observe the changes underground. Boom. A 1,000-foot light suddenly emerged from the underground of the back mountain, and a wave of law waves came, resisting the slowly approaching mountain. This made many people understand that the saint used such a method to force something out of the back mountain. Mu Daoxing's hands changed, as if he had triggered the power of boundless water, and a suspended Cheyenne appeared, surging. The Cheyenne is upside down. The mighty Cheyenne water carried a huge and unparalleled impact force, and ran wildly towards the back mountain. The mountain and river saint has used both the mountain embrace seal and the sky drawing river. How powerful is the inheritance of this back mountain? Luoz murmured, with a fanatic look on her face. It is very rare to see a saint take action. Swish. The divine light flickered on the ground of the back mountain, and finally a crack appeared. A green light flew out at a high speed, easily splitting the black mountain in half. Another golden light appeared, rushed into the sky, and evaporated the upside down sky drawing river. The students on the ground were stunned. The saint's moves were all broken. What on earth is this? So powerful. The two rays of light slowly faded, revealing their true colors. A simple flying knife and a golden rune appeared, and the freshmen all understood a little. This should be the so-called inheritance. Only two? Sure enough, the power of a single person is not enough. Let's attack together. Mu Deoxing shouted. He drew with both hands, and mountains took shape one after another. Mountain embrace seal. 5 mountains. The 5 mountains were arranged neatly, as if in accordance with a certain formation, emitting extremely powerful energy fluctuations. Frost danced. Duan Mizuan danced, her clothes fluttering, snowflakes condensed, and the temperature on the back mountain immediately dropped by dozens of degrees, freezing many people. Meteorites falling from the sky. Yi Yang waved his hand, and countless huge fireballs fell from the sky, extremely strong and masculine, with fierce power. The towers as shown in the picture. The old man Guchen opened his mouth and spit out a picture of the innate Tao, on which Teikai rotated, containing countless mysteries. The breath was peaceful, but there was thunder and lightning, as if the picture could destroy everything with a shake. The law evolved by the 4 saints was about to break the sky, as if it was the creation of the world. Boom. The back mountain finally rioted, the earth cracked, and the brilliant divine light broke through the clouds, like a volcanic eruption, shaking the earth. Streams of rosy light gushed out, colorful, gorgeous, and with powerful law fluctuations. Roar. A tiger roared to the sky, and its huge tiger claws stretched out, crushing a mountain with one hand. Bang. A human-shaped phantom opened his eyes, emitting divine light, destroying the meteorites one by one. Swoosh. A gust of wind slid by, with a sharp aura, and the frost flowers that were brushed by it all turned into powder, and the temperature returned to normal. Crack. A holy sword slashed down, and the sword energy was like an ocean, rolling down and crushing the Dao diagram. At this moment, thousands of spiritual will bodies underground all rushed out, showing their traces in the back mountain, and flying around. Okay, everyone. Mu Deoxing wiped his sweat. His hands trembled slightly, because he had fought hard with the tiger and his hands were almost broken. Yi Yang's hands also left a trace of blood. He was injured by the divine light of the human-shaped phantom, and Duan Mizuan's clothes were cut off by the invisible wind. Only Guchen was still intact, and not touched by the holy sword. The spiritual will bodies of these previous saints are very powerful. The weak ones can rival the immortal level, and the strong ones can rival the saints. Even the 4 saints can't handle it together. This is done, and the only thing left is the final choice of inheritance. Mu Deoxing thought. He took a step forward, and his voice was like a bell, echoing in the back mountain. These spiritual will bodies are the inheritance marks left by the previous saints. We saints will awaken them for 12 hours. You must find the inheritance that suits you during this time and integrate it. In this way, you can truly become the elite of Xianfu. Welcome all book friends to read. The latest, fastest, and hottest serialized works are all here. Chapter 46 Various Inheritances. After hearing what Mu Deoxing said, many students were excited and eager to take action. They wanted to find the best inheritance and make rapid progress in their practice. Yanqing looked at the various spiritual will bodies flying in the air and sighed. It was not easy to find a suitable and powerful inheritance among the thousands of spiritual will bodies. Many students excitedly touched the spiritual will bodies, but were bounced back and fell. A tiger roared to the sky. It had shined in the fight with the saint just now. Some students who thought they were very strong stepped forward to get the recognition of this tiger. But no matter how they tried, they could not succeed. Instead, they were shaken by the tiger's roar, and their spirits were scattered, and blood flowed from their mouths and noses. The same was true for the students surrounding other powerful spiritual will bodies. Some were pierced by divine light, some were cut into two by sword energy, and some were melted by the light emitted by the golden runes. Yanqing frowned. These freshmen were too reckless. He waved his sleeves and sprinkled nectar to heal every injured person. When choosing a legacy, you must do what you can and not force it. Yi Yang spoke. His voice was low, but could reach everyone's ears. Although the students were unwilling, they had no choice but to leave these powerful spiritual will bodies and go to those weak and ordinary spiritual will bodies. I succeeded. A student shouted, and a broken ancient bell merged into his body, and he got the legacy, which aroused the envy of many people. Soon, one by one, the students adjusted their minds and found the inheritance that suited them. However, these ordinary spiritual will bodies were not so easy to take down. Several students were struck by lightning, their hair stood up, black smoke spewed from their mouths, and they fell to the ground. Some students were pressed down by boulders weighing tens of tons and could not move. Yang Ze did not spy on those powerful spiritual will bodies, but found an ordinary spiritual will body, a dancing crane. The Yang family's skill is the heavenly crane wheel sutra, and after entering the transcendent realm, a huge crane phantom will condense. For him, this crane is the most suitable. Feng Wang, Sitakang, Feng Ling, Dong Fang Wu, and Luozi did not look for them. They were carefully observing those powerful spiritual wills, wanting to get their approval. Yanqing was walking among various wills. He had a feeling that none of these wills were suitable for him. Even the most powerful wills, the holy sword, the human-shaped phantom, the flying knife, the golden rune, etc., he did not feel that they fit in. Perhaps with the inheritance of the saint sire, he no longer needed other inheritances. 3 hours later, Feng Guang could not help it and took the lead in walking towards the holy sword. There, the sword energy was everywhere, becoming the domain of the sword. He stepped forward step by step, allowing the sword energy of the holy sword to cut countless wounds on his body. He knew that if he wanted to get something, he had to pay a price first. Clang! Feng Guang grabbed the holy sword, and the holy sword immediately trembled. Countless sword lights appeared together and passed through Feng Guang's body. Puff! Blood splattered. Feng Guang smiled and held his hand tighter. In order to control this group of freshmen, he must have overwhelming power. The holy sword is his best weapon. One day in the future, he will definitely stand at the top of the galaxy and become the best. Holy sword, follow me and witness my legend. One day, I will ascend to the throne of the emperor. The holy sword seemed to have heard Feng Guang's thoughts, gradually calmed down, and finally turned into a ray of light and flew into Feng Guang's body. Feng Guang's expression was stunned, then turned into ecstasy. He immediately closed his eyes and meditated, and the energy on his body surged. The 4 saints nodded. Finally, there was a student who could be compared with previous years. Sitakhan walked towards the tiger. The tiger awed and provoked him. There was a test in the tiger's eyes. Sitakhan laughed and raised his fist to hit the tiger. He challenged the saint realm with the transcendent realm. Many students thought that Sitakhan was courting death, but the tiger did not attack Sitakhan, but let Sitakhan hit it hard. This result surprised the students. The tiger ordered Sitakhan and got into his body. Keep this fearless spirit, never lose heart, even if you are facing a battle that you cannot win, you must fight to the last second. A sentence appeared faintly in Sitakhan's heart. He understood that this was the recognition of him by the saints of previous generations. A wave of insights rose from his heart, and Sitakhan sat down like Feng Guang. Feng Ling also made a move. Her target was the invisible wind. Feng Ling had a deep understanding of the wind, and had already touched the secrets of the immortals. She chased the wind, leaving traces in the air, and her speed was getting faster and faster. With a bang, she broke the sound barrier, and made a sonic boom. But even so, Feng Ling's speed did not stop, and it was still accelerating. Her body was getting heavier and heavier. Finally, when she was about to collapse, the wind finally noticed Feng Ling, took the initiative to come to Feng Ling, and chose Feng Ling. Luozi seemed to have found her target from the beginning. She was well prepared. She came to the human-shaped phantom with a pair of heavenly eyes, and sang a beautiful song. Her voice exuded a mysterious power, which made the human-shaped phantom's eyes slowly close, overlap with her shadow, and merge into her body. Dongfang Wu was probably the most relaxed. He just waved his hand and let the golden rune come over and fall into his palm. This made many people's glasses fall to the ground. It was too easy. Comparing people is simply infuriating. Almost everyone has chosen the inheritance. Only a few people are still trying, including Yanqing. Mu Daoxing paid attention to Yanqing and watched Yanqing still strolling in the back mountain, looking at the inheritance without any hurry. It seems that he has no intention of inheriting. This made Mu Daoxing a little disappointed. Did he make a mistake this time? In his opinion, Yanqing is the most special one, different from others. This entrance examination, Yanqing is the biggest dark horse. Yanqing really has no intention of inheriting, because there is no spiritual will that can match him. He stopped and looked at Fengling, Yangze, Luozi and the others with some envy. What is destined to happen will happen, and what is not destined to happen should not be forced. Yanqing comforted himself. Just when Yanqing wanted to sit down and stop searching, the system that had not spoken for a long time suddenly made a sound. Chapter 47, A World in a Grain of Sand. Host, there is a very weak spiritual body 10 meters to your left. It is very strange, and seems to have the same properties as the microcosm. The system's voice came, which cheered up Yanqing. System, is this a spiritual body suitable for me? Yanqing asked expectantly. It can only be said that this spiritual body may be suitable for the host, but the host may not be able to inherit it successfully. The system's voice was very steady, and it analyzed calmly, pouring a plate of cold water on Yanqing. Okay, Yanqing said embarrassedly. He walked over and stopped at the location indicated by the system. He looked at this place and scanned it a few times, but found nothing. There was nothing here. System, it's not here? Yanqing asked curiously. Host, use the microcosm to perceive it carefully. It's here. Yanqing closed his eyes. The microcosm slowly turned, and the mental power extended to cover this area. The mental power swept across the ground inch by inch, not missing a place. Soon, Yanqing found something unusual. A grain of sand had a unique aura. Under the coverage of his mental power, it was like a light in the dark night, revealing it and attracting Yanqing's attention. Could it be that the spiritual will is a grain of sand? Yanqing lowered his head and squatted, picking up the grain of sand. After careful observation, a gentle energy fluctuated at his fingertips, echoing with Yanqing's microcosm. This grain of sand looked just like ordinary sand, without any strangeness, densely covered with impurities, dark and tiny. But after Yanqing touched it with his spiritual power, the grain of sand immediately changed its appearance. In Yanqing's eyes, the gravel slowly enlarged, getting bigger and bigger, as if it had become a world. Yanqing felt that he was in it, and became extremely small. This grain of sand actually contains the heaven and earth, and there is a world hidden in it. Mu Daoxing looked at Yanqing and shook his head depressedly. He thought Yanqing had made a move, and was going to try to inherit. Unexpectedly, he actually found a place, squatted down, and played with a grain of sand. Isn't this a waste of his energy? Daoxing, what are you looking at? Yi Yang asked with a smile. Nothing, just watching a potential freshman choose to inherit. Mu Daoxing pointed at Yanqing. Yi Yang looked over and glanced at Yanqing and said in surprise, this new student's path should not be martial arts. His aura is restrained, but he is full of energy and has a huge explosive power. He is indeed very potential. However, he did not choose to inherit. What's the matter? Yi Yang asked in confusion. Who said he did not choose to inherit? Isn't it the sand-like spiritual will in his hand? Choosing such a weak inheritance is useless, even if there is great potential. Mu Daoxing, your vision is wrong. Duan Mizuan sneered. As a representative of the conservative faction of Xianfu, she has always targeted the reformists headed by Mu Daoxing. A grain of sand? Mu Daoxing was ridiculed and mocked by Duan Mizuan, and felt very unhappy. He said, even if it is a grain of sand, his future achievements will not be bad. The inheritance is just icing on the cake and speeds up the practice. The key lies in one's own practice. What's wrong with you today, woman? Is it your monthly period? You are so unhappy. Oh, no, I'm wrong. You old woman are already a saint. You don't have that thing anymore. Mu Daoxing, you. Duan Mizuan was shaking with anger. Although she lived for 100 years, the lifespan of a saint is very long. Her body stopped at the age of 20, with a young and beautiful face. But Mu Daoxing, the old man, called her an old woman, which was simply unbearable. She was originally a hot-tempered person, and could be easily ignited. Mu Daoxing, do you want to fight? Fight if you want. I'm afraid of you. We have fought so many times in 100 years, but you still lost to me every time, and then pretended to be injured, and ran to Yi Yang's arms to act pitiful. Mu Daoxing laughed. You. Duan Mazuan's face flushed red, and she raised her hand to swing out Frost Flower, but was caught by Yi Yang. Zuana, calm down. Yi Yang, shut up. Yi Yang smiled bitterly. One was his Taoist partner, and the other was his good friend. He was caught between the two, and it was very difficult to do anything. He was not a human being on both sides. Gu Chen heard what the three said, and glanced at Yanqing with interest. This glance made him unable to look away. Yanqing sucked him tightly like a magnet. He couldn't see the future of this person. Who is he? It's really terrible. Even the sky peeking technique is useless. You know, unless the human emperor with strength above him takes action, even a saint can't block his sky peeking technique. I want to see what this new student is up to. Gu Chen's eyes burst into a divine light, and he used the sky peeking technique with all his strength to explore Yanqing's past. Boom. Gu Chen's body was struck by lightning, and he staggered back a few steps. His hair was disheveled, and blood flowed from the corners of his mouth. This made the three saints stop arguing, and three surprised eyes looked at him. Gu Chen, what's wrong with you? Mu Daoxing asked. It's okay, this new student is very unusual. Not only can I not see through his future, but even his past can only be seen in a corner. Gu Chen's robe shook, and he returned to his original appearance, but his black hair turned a few white again. What? Yi Yang and Mu Daoxing were shocked. Even the Xianfu's supreme secret art, the sky peeking art, could not see through it. What was the origin of this new student they were discussing? Duan Mazuan was also stunned after hearing what Gu Chen said. Well, his future is nothing, but his past shocked me very much, just like Zeman Sword God back then. Gu Chen murmured, with a look of reminiscence on his face. You mean he has the same origin as Zeman Sword God? Could it be that? Duan Mazuan asked dryly. Gu Chen nodded, and didn't say anything. He was very exhausted at that moment, but he saw a past. It was the old AD era with tall buildings and airplanes flying in the sky. It was the era when humans had not yet walked out of the planet and were trapped in a corner. I'm very interested in this student. I will be his mentor. No one of you should fight for it. Duan Mazuan saw Gu Chen's performance and immediately changed her tone. TSK, what a shameless woman, so shameless. Mu Daoxing said contemptuously. Whatever you say, I will be his mentor. Duan Mazuan blushed and said firmly. That won't do. He was the first one I discovered. This saint has been paying attention to him for a long time, and has long planned to take him as a disciple. You old woman, don't dream about it. With Yi Yang, isn't it enough for you? You still have to find another disciple. Mu Daoxing said with a grin. Mu Daoxing, I'm not as dirty as you think. Duan Mazuan was angry. This guy actually dared to slander him like this. Just when the saints were arguing about who would be Yanqing's mentor, Yanqing was realizing the world in the sand. A grain of sand is a world, a flower is a paradise, Mount Sumeru can contain a mustard seed, and an instant contains eternal motion. This is the content of the ancient Buddhist scriptures. As Yanqing thought about this, the grain of sand on his fingertips suddenly trembled, as if Yanqing's thoughts touched it. This grain of sand bloomed with infinite light, making all the freshmen present unable to open their eyes, as if they were trapped in a white mist of light. A white lotus slowly bloomed. This lotus had 81 petals, and was a 9-grade lotus platform. A Buddha sat on it, with his hands in a meditation seal, and his appearance was solemn. Behind this ancient Buddha, there were thousands of auspicious auras and rosy clouds. There were heavenly dragons chanting, and the Buddha's light was universal. At this time, everyone's hearts calmed down, as if they were sublimated. A Buddha! Yanqing exclaimed. There is not only a world in this grain of sand, but also a Buddha. The Buddhist scriptures in the past once said, 5 colored stems grow in the Buddha's land. 1 flower is a world, and 1 leaf is a Tathagata. I guess this is the case. The saints in Cheyenne in the past were actually related to Buddha. He looked at the manifested Buddha with doubts. Could it be that there is also a Buddha in this era? Chapter 48, Salvation. The Buddha transforms into the Akalanatha. The Buddha's image stood tall and upright, like a towering mountain. A halo behind his head shone in all directions. Wisps of black smoke slowly evaporated from everyone's body and turned into nothingness. This was the Buddha purifying everyone's hostility. Yanqing looked at the Buddha's image. His mind was a little dazed. He seemed to have lost his mind to the Buddha. The sound of Buddha played in his heart, and passages of scriptures flowed, releasing all kinds of mysteries, making Yanqing intoxicated. Mu Daoxing looked at the Buddha that released infinite light and said solemnly, "This should be the spiritual will body left by the saint of the Buddhist country 1400 years ago. This power is so powerful that I'm afraid it is at the top of the pyramid among all the spiritual will bodies in the back mountain." Saint of the Buddhist country, the third disciple of the second generation of the Lord of the Palace, according to the records in the classics, has the cultivation of a quasi-emperor, so this Buddha statue is at least at the higher level of the saint realm. Yi Yang took a breath. This freshman has a really good vision. He can actually choose such an inheritance. He is worthy of being from the same place as Demon Sword God. And it seems that this inheritance seems to have recognized him. Duan Mazuan praised. She seemed to have just forgotten that she was still despising Yanqing's choice. I really didn't expect that the inheritance left by the saints of the Buddhist country has never been discovered after so many years. Now someone finally found it. This is an opportunity. No one would have thought that a grain of sand would turn into a Buddha. Gu Chen sighed. Not good. Mu Daoxing suddenly remembered something. His face changed, and his figure moved towards the Buddha. During the movement, a black mountain formed in his hands and blasted towards the Buddha. Mu Daoxing, are you crazy? You dare to interrupt the inheritance? Duan Mazuan screamed. She waved her hands rapidly, and cold ice flowers bloomed, freezing the mountain. Yanqing, he can't accept this inheritance. He doesn't have the strength of the immortal level, and his mental strength is too low. Once he accepts the inheritance, he will be directly converted by the Buddha and lose his original personality. Then he will be ruined. Mu Daoxing said anxiously. There is such a thing. Yi Yang was shocked. No matter what, we can't let this little guy be converted successfully. He has the same origin as Demon Sword God, and his future achievements will definitely be higher than ours. Gu Chen made a decision. The world in my sleeve. Gu Chen flicked his sleeves and received everyone except Yanqing in his sleeves and protected them. In this way, we don't have to worry about the damage caused by the battle. Everyone will work together. Even if it destroys the inheritance of this Buddhist saint, we must save him. Xianshan Yiki sword. Gu Chen opened his mouth and spit out a key sword. The sword light was 300 miles in radius, and the murderer Sora was earth-shaking. Xianshan Yiki sword is a sword intent refined by the innate key of Taoism. It is intangible and boundless. A sword can split the sea and break the mountains. Although the Buddha had no consciousness, it could actively defend against the enemy. It stretched out its palm and grew in the wind. In a blink of an eye, it became taller than the mountain and bigger than the sky. This was the boundless Buddha Dhamma. The vast Buddha power surged. The Buddha's palm directly smashed the Xianshan Yiki sword, causing Gu Chen, whose mind was connected to the key sword, to spit out a large mouthful of blood. In a blink of an eye, he was slightly injured. Yi Yang please. Mountains and rivers melt, and the great seal of overturning the heavens. Mu Daoxing looked at Gu Chen, who had returned empty-handed and was injured, and his heart was throbbing. He knew that the Buddha was extremely powerful and had burst out all his peak power at the beginning. He plated his hands with a layer of gold, overlapped his hands, and placed them on his head. A simple and ancient seal slowly formed, covering the sky and the sun, covering the Buddha. Daoxing's great seal of overturning the heavens. With one strike, even a peak saint would be seriously injured. But the great seal of overturning the heavens needs to accumulate power, so we have to buy him time. Yi Yang said in a deep voice. He and Mu Daoxing have been friends for many years, so he naturally knew what Mu Daoxing meant. The sun shines everywhere. Yi Yang is known as the saint of the sun. The sun's rays can melt everything. A golden crow appeared, with 3 legs carrying golden flames. the crow cried, and the golden flames of the sun fell in groups. Ice covers thousands of miles. Duan Mazuan danced her delicate body, and cold air burst out. An invisible wind came with it, and ice crystals spread all over the earth. The Buddha was first covered with a layer of ice crystals, and then it was steamed by the sun. The fusion of ice and fire was like the 9 heavens falling. The Buddha's body was cracked, and the light was unstable. It works. The last blow, the great seal of overturning the heaven. Mu Deoxing slapped it with both hands. The majestic seal fell heavily, as if it was going to crush everything in the world. This is the power that can destroy the planet. Boom. The seal submerged the Buddha and pressed it underneath. Finally defeated. But before the saints could rejoice, thousands of divine lights suddenly shone through the great seal of overturning the heaven, completely breaking the seal. Impossible. How could he not be hurt after receiving such a blow that was equivalent to the peak of a saint? The 4 saints could not remain calm. This Buddha was too powerful. After receiving this heavy blow, the Buddha seemed to be awakened, and his face became ferocious, as if he was angered. Buddha also has anger, such as the angry eyes of the Vajra in the Buddhist scriptures. Nang mo siddhi siddhi su siddhi siddhi kalale kuan sama sili ajama siddhi suahaha. The Buddha recited the Akala Vidyaraja mantra to subdue demons, and transformed into the Akala Vidyaraja, showing a wrathful appearance, with a raging fire on his back, holding a sharp sword in his right hand and a noose in his left hand, in a posture of cutting off troubles. This Buddha can actually transform into the wrathful incarnation of Virakanata Thagata, Akala Vidyaraja. Gu Chen's face changed drastically. This is the main statue of the 5 great Vidyarajas in the Buddhist scriptures. It is the king of all Vidyarajas. It is extremely terrifying, and its strength has definitely reached the peak of saints. Even if the 4 of them work together, they are no match for this Vidyaraja. Just when Mu Deoxing wanted to call the Lord of Xianfu, who was in seclusion, the Akala suddenly calmed down, his angry expression disappeared, and he changed again, turning into a big Buddha holding a flower and smiling, as if all the anger was no longer important. What's going on? Could it be that Yanqing has been saved, so he showed this attitude of inheriting the mantle? The 4 people rushed forward, but were suddenly picked up by the big Buddha, and fell into the hands of the big Buddha. The Buddha kingdom in the palm. The big Buddha chanted, and his palm turned into 3,000 small worlds, covering the saints who fell in a mess. Shit, it's actually the Buddha kingdom in the palm of the Buddha's saint. Now if we want to get out, we can't do it without a day, and this Buddha kingdom is isolated from the space, and we can't contact the Lord of the Palace. Is this newborn really going to be saved? Gu Chen felt painful in his heart. It was a pity that he didn't save him after such efforts. Mu Deoxing and the 3 saints also sighed in unison. But what people didn't expect was that the Buddha kingdom only lasted for half an hour before it broke apart, which surprised the saints. At this time, the big Buddha gradually disappeared, turned into a rain of light, and merged into Yanqing's body. Yanqing turned around, with a certain divinity on his face, but more of the brilliance of humanity. Mu Deoxing's heart tightened, his face full of bitterness. Has he been converted? Yanqing looked at the 4 frowning saints, somewhat puzzled. He didn't understand why the saints appeared here at all. He had to bow respectfully and asked, "What do the 4 saints want to see me for? If I, Yanqing, can help, I will do my best, and will not refuse." Hey, this kid didn't even shout Amitabha, nor did he call himself a poor monk. The personality didn't seem to disappear. Mu Deoxing's eyes were full of surprise, and he walked towards Yanqing. He wanted to test whether Yanqing was really converted. This chapter was really difficult to write. It took a lot of effort. Once it involved Buddhist scriptures, I was overwhelmed. It took 4 hours to complete the search for information. Please vote for me, because I try so hard to write a good story. I thank you very much. I also want to thank for the tip. I'm so touched. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49, The 9-Character Mantra of Akalanatha. Because Dan Nang will block the words virgin and female in order not to affect the reading. The 12 is used, and another nickname of the female constellation is Virgo instead. This chapter is super difficult to write. Please give 12 a recommendation vote, and encourage 10 too. Yanqing, what do you think Buddha is? Mu Daoxing asked seriously. He wanted to see if Yanqing still retained his original personality. After being saved by the Buddha, every action and word of the person who was saved by the Buddha would carry the Buddha's teachings, which was rigid and stubborn. Buddha? Yanqing was startled. He hadn't thought about this yet. But since it was a saint asking the question, there must be something profound. Yanqing thought for a while and replied, Buddha should be in a state of great wisdom and freedom. Is Buddha a human or a god? Mu Daoxing, the tension relaxed slightly, and I asked again. Yanqing's answer is very good. Yanqing replied without thinking, Buddha is a human being. Why? Buddha is cultivated by human beings. Everyone can become a Buddha. Buddha is not aloof, but to save all living beings, and communicate with the people. The Diamond Sutra chapter, there is a saying in the first chapter. At one time, the Buddha was in the country of Savatthi, and he was alone with a group of 1250 great bhikkhus. At that time, when the Buddha was eating, he went to the great city of Savatthi to beg alms. Already, return to this place. After finishing the meal, he collected his clothes and bowl, washed his feet, and sat down on his seat. This scripture describes the ordinary life of the Buddha, dressing, begging, eating, washing his feet, spreading his seat, and sitting down. No different from ordinary people. As long as ordinary actions are taken seriously, it is practice, and this is the ordinary mind. Yanqing talked, and the principles of Buddhist scriptures emerged in his mind. What do you think you are? Mu Daoxing's mood improved. I'm me, who else could it be? Yanqing was stunned. Mu Daoxing laughed, and patted Yanqing on the shoulder, flattering Yanqing. Yanqing had a very clear understanding of Buddha. This was definitely not that he had been converted, but that he had withstood the test and successfully obtained the inheritance of the saints of the Buddhist country. Gu Chen, Yi Yang, and Duan Muxuan also relaxed. They had been worried for so long. They never expected that this boy would be so obscene and turn the impossible into possible. He could withstand such a quasi-emperor level with a cultivation level that was not in the mortal transformation realm inheritance. Yanqing, do you accept the inheritance of the Buddhist saints? Mu Daoxing wanted to confirm again. This can only be said to have accepted part of the inheritance. Yanqing scratched his head and said cautiously. Yanqing understood at this time that the saints were obviously very interested in his inheritance. Part of it? Mu Daoxing was stunned and asked. Yes, although there are many inheritances in this spiritual world body, it seems that I can only choose the parts that suit me. I can't get the others. Yanqing was a little unwilling. It was like there was a treasure, but he could only. It is really painful to get one box in this huge treasure, while the other boxes can be seen and eaten. Mu Dao, the sage from the Buddhist country, is compassionate and has a sense of propriety. The inheritance he left behind will definitely be very safe. Those inheritances? Gu Chen asked. He was in charge of the Sutra Collection Pavilion in Xianfu. Throughout the past and present, he had profound knowledge and was as knowledgeable as the ocean. It's some Buddhist scriptures for enlightenment and a set of 9-character Mahamudra. Yanqing replied. Could it be the big handprint corresponding to the 9 characters in front of which all the combatants are arrayed? Gu Chen asked, remembering the 9-character mantra. Well, these are the 9 characters. In this set of Mahamudra, the 9 characters must not only match the mudra, but also hold the mantra. For example, the word Lin is the Fudoming King seal that matches the Vajrasattva mantra, and the word Dao is used to match the Vajrasattva mantra. The outer lion seal of the Dharma body mantra, the treasure bottle seal with the characters of the Mauritian heart mantra, etc. These are 9 kinds of seals in total. Yanqing thought for a while. The 9-character Mahamudra that Yanqing mentioned actually requires reciting a mantra. Hiss. Gu Chen took a breath of air conditioning. He originally thought that what Yanqing got was a saint-level martial arts, the 9-character mantra Mahamudra. Unexpectedly, what Yanqing got was actually the 9-character mantra Mahamudra. The former is a branch of the latter's martial arts, the 9-character mantra Mahamudra. That's the general outline. An emperor in the galaxy era studied Buddhist scriptures and evolved this martial arts in countless battles. The emperor's unique skills can shake the starfield and destroy the galaxy. Yanqing is so lucky to get it. Even the Buddha's kingdom in the palm of your hand is not as practical as this 9-character Mahamudra. Sure enough, I have great luck. Gu Chen's eyes flashed, and his eyes seemed to want to see through Yanqing, making Yanqing feel hairy and worried. In fact, he still has a secret that he has not revealed, and that is that the Saint CI system has granted him an extremely powerful secret in the inheritance. When the scriptures flowed in his heart and his mind was about to be eroded by the Buddha, the system hall showed its power and directly sucked these golden scriptures into the hall, turning them into a bright Buddha light. When a bell rang in the system hall, and the sound was loud and clear, making Yanqing wake up immediately. Host, you encountered a spiritual power far beyond yours, and your consciousness almost collapsed. The system issued a warning, letting Yanqing know that he had just entered a dangerous situation. I really didn't expect that the voice of this giant Buddha would captivate people's hearts and shake their will. It was really scary. I was completely defenseless at that time. Yanqing murmured. Why did the saints of the past generations do this? Is this inheritance false? Host, the inheritance in this spiritual body is true, but if you want to trigger that grain of sand, you must be a disciple of Buddhism. But the host will rely on the small universe to it is turned on, but it has no Buddhist intention. So the great Buddha wants to transform the host into a Buddhist disciple, and then let the host accept the inheritance. The system explained in detail. It turns out that the inheritance of this ancestral saint was left for the disciples of Buddhism. No wonder it is like this. Yanqing sighed, feeling a little sad. Sure enough, the only inheritance he found was not suitable for him. However, the host can indeed accept this Buddhist inheritance. All the scriptures in this spiritual will have been turned into a Buddhist light. As long as the secret of Virgo is used as a guide, the host can understand the things in this inheritance. The system said. Let Yanqing was stunned for a moment, then turned to surprise. Is this really okay? There won't be any other conditions attached? Yanqing asked anxiously. Last time I got 2 teleportation spells from the system, the price was that I had to accept the inheritance of Ares within 3 years. Will I also pay the price this time? Yanqing was a little scared. No, not at all. This is an adventure obtained by the host himself, and it provides the system with valuable Buddhist information, so it can be used by the host without paying a price. The system's voice was cold, but at this moment, Yanqing's heart suddenly became excited surge. What should we do? Yanqing asked expectantly. Host, please sit cross-legged in front of the Buddha's light. Yanqing did as he was told, and sat down facing the Buddha's light surrounded by golden scriptures. A mysterious light appeared in the hall, and fell into his small universe, pulling out one of the 12 huge light bodies like the sun in the center of the boundless star sea. Yanqing's eyes widened. This was the first time he saw a constellation on the ecliptic, and it was the constellation Virgo. The huge light body burst out with incomparable shining light, assimilating the Buddha's light into a part of himself. Yanqing stared hard at Virgo, but the light of Virgo was so dazzling that he couldn't see the original appearance of Virgo at all. Host, relax your mind and accept the mysteries of Virgo. Huh? A vast voice came from an unknown source. It was vast and boundless. Yanqing seemed to have seen it. He was sitting cross-legged, holding seals with both hands, letting the thunder strike. Electric shock, fire, and ice, mountains falling, and thousands of soldiers attacking. This man remained unmoved. In the end, the world was destroyed, and the galaxy collapsed, but the power of destruction could not affect even a foot of his body. It was as if an invisible force had built an extremely strong defensive wall around him that no one could break. This is the secret meaning of the Virgo constellation Ha, which means Fudomayu. Yanqing murmured. As he understood Fudomayo, a line of Buddhist scriptures appeared in his heart, turning into a set of large mudra. This is a 9-character mantra and mantra Mahamudra. Yanqing's consciousness swept over this set of exercises and read out the name of the exercise. The numerous Mahamudra exercises were shocked and integrated into his mind, and the Buddhist principles deepened. His realization. Half an hour later, he finally had a preliminary understanding of the secrets of the Virgo Fudomayo. At the same time, He also read through the 9-character Mahamudra technique. The Buddha also understood that Yanqing's comprehension was successful, and his huge body disappeared and turned into light. Rain entered his body and completed the last step of the inheritance. What Yanqing revealed to the saint was only the Mahamudra inherited by the saints of the Buddhist kingdom, and the secret of the Virgo constellation, Fudo involved his biggest secret and could not be revealed. Chapter 50. Become a disciple, seeking recommendation. You are very good. Yi Yang nodded and smiled. Yi Yang's words confused Yanqing. What was so good about him? He just answered a few questions of the saint. Hey, where are the people in the back mountain? Yanqing was surprised. He realized at this time that the back mountain was empty except for the 4 saints and him. The people who had just received the inheritance here disappeared. They are here. Gu Chen waved his sleeves and said, in the sleeves, this is the legendary sleeves. Yanqing's eyes widened. This is the magical power of ancient Taoist legends. With a narrow cuff, everything in the world can be collected. When he was watching Journey to the West in the past, he was very much looking forward to this magical power that could fit everything in. Why did they disappear? Yanqing asked hesitantly. He had a feeling that the disappearance of this group of freshmen was related to him. Although he didn't want to upset the saint, he was very worried about the situation of Fengling, Yangze, Luozi and others, so he had to bite the bullet and ask. Well, actually, it's because you opened the inheritance of the Buddha's saints. The energy that the Buddha showed was very fierce. In order to prevent other freshmen from getting hurt, they used their magical powers to collect them. Mu Daoxing laughed. He really didn't want to say that the 4 saints had to collect the freshmen because they fought fiercely with the Buddha to save Yanqing. If they could defeat the Buddha, they could say it, but they lost in the end, which was really untrue. So that's how it is. Yanqing whispered. He felt very sorry for the freshmen. If it weren't for him, they wouldn't have enjoyed the treatment of being sealed in the different dimension. The saints exchanged glances with each other. Now that the inheritance is over, maybe it's time to discuss who should be the master of this little guy. Yi Yang will not compete with Duan Mizuan. Gu Chen is very interested in Yanqing, but as the head of the Sutra Library, he doesn't have much time to go back to teach his disciples, so he has to give up on this matter. In that case, the final competition will be between Duan Mizuan and Mu Daoxing. Duan Mizuan and Mu Daoxing looked at each other, with lightning flashing in their eyes. After a while, Duan Mizuan turned her head away in disgust, fearing that her eyes would be dirty, and Mu Daoxing also sneered, looking down on Duan Mizuan. You two, each of you will rely on your own ability. Whoever can attract this new student can be his master, but you cannot use threats. Gu Chen sent a message to the other 3 people, acting as a temporary referee. Mu Daoxing, you have to agree, whether you agree or not. Duan Mizuan said arrogantly. Of course I have no problem. I'm still afraid of you, an old woman. You go first. If you succeed, I will eat shit directly. Mu Daoxing rolled his eyes. It's a deal. It's a deal. Don't regret it later. Cry and beg for mercy from me. Duan Mizuan snorted. I'll give you 2 words. The 2 people seconded Gu Chen's proposal and prepared to explain to Yanqing their intention to recruit him as a disciple. The first to appear was Duan Mizuan. Duan Mizuan's cold face changed, and she forced a smile towards Yanqing, which was uglier than crying. She said, hey, little guy, your name is Yanqing. Would you like to be my disciple? You should know how powerful the saint is. As long as you become my disciple, I will teach you carefully, and it will be just around the corner for you to surpass me in the future. Yanqing was stunned. He felt as if he was dreaming. The saint actually wanted to accept him as a disciple. Could it be that he was a piece of uncut jade that caught the saint's eye? No, this was definitely not the case. There were a few people with the same qualifications as him. I want to think about it again. Yanqing answered carefully. He didn't understand why the saint wanted to accept him as a disciple. Yanqing, little guy, you. Duan Mizuan was anxious. Just as she was about to speak, she was interrupted rudely by Mu Daoxing. Okay, it's my turn. Mu Daoxing walked in front of Yanqing, stroked his hair, pretended to be cool, but actually said in a vulgar way, hey, kid, how about following me? Only I can teach you the seal method that is suitable for you. You also saw my mountain holding seal. A mountain suddenly rose up. How about it? Do you want to learn it? As long as you become my disciple, I can teach you this. Yanqing was stunned. How could these two saints compete to accept him as a disciple? This was too unreasonable. Yanqing had a flash of inspiration. Could it be because he had inherited the legacy of the saint of the Buddha kingdom? I guess this is the most reasonable explanation. Yanqing sorted out his thoughts. He absolutely could not refuse these two saints. At least he had to choose one. Whether it was from the perspective of his own practice, or from the perspective of the Yang family's growth under the protection of the saints, this was very important. But how to choose now? Which one is more suitable for him? The Ice and Frost Saint or the Mountain and River Saint? Little fellow Yanqing, as long as you choose me as your master, my Taoist partner, Saint Hori, will also treat you as his own son and his disciple. At that time, there will be two saints teaching you. We two saints can completely solve your problems in cultivation. Duan Mazuan said. Boy, as long as you come to my side, there will be two saints. Saint Hori is my best friend and he can also teach you. This is not only possible for that old woman, but also for me. Mu Daoxing said proudly. Mu Daoxing. Duan Mazuan screamed. What are you arguing about? It's really noisy. It's more annoying than 500 or 5,000 ducks. Mu Daoxing covered his ears. Yu Yang smiled bitterly. He was really shot, even when he was lying down. He was completely a bargaining chip for two people, to win over their disciples. No matter who he was, he could not escape the task of teaching Yanqing. Gu Chen looked relaxed. No matter what, the war could not burn him. Yanqing looked at the two saints who were glaring at each other, and had a headache. He really didn't know how to choose. The Frost Saint's frost and coldness were definitely deepen the mystery of the white bird seat, increase the power of the freezing air, and even comprehend the skill of the goddess of dawn's forgiveness in advance. The Mountain and River Saint had a deep understanding of the seal method. Under the guidance of the Mountain and River Saint, he would definitely be able to figure out his 9-character mantra chanting hand seal, and the mystery of the Akala seat should also be improved. Yanqing had a headache. It would be great if he could choose both sides, but choosing that way would offend the two saints. If he chose one now, the other saint would dislike him very much in the future. How should he choose? At this moment, an olden vicissitudes of life voice sounded in Yanqing's ears. This was the sound transmission technique. Little guy, I'm Gu Chen. You can see I'm right in front of you. You're in trouble now. I have a solution. If you want to listen, just blink. If you don't want to listen, just don't move. Yanqing heard the voice and looked at Gu Chen, the sky-seeing saint. Gu Chen looked at him with a smile and admiration in his eyes. Yanqing's little universe did not feel the malice of the sky-seeing saint towards him at all, but felt a constant flow of warmth. Yanqing immediately blinked without hesitation. Welcome all book friends to read. The latest, fastest, and hottest serialized works are all here. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.